College Quiz Bowl. But first, beginning this Monday morning, you can do your household chores in the company of fine variety entertainment. Yes, it's NBC's new daytime radio service, Weekdays. A short story by John Steinbeck, dramatized in its entirety. Exciting new novels, such as The Persistent Image, enacted day by day until their completion. And fabulous guest personalities like Cornelia Otis Skinner, singing star Eddie Fisher, and music man Meredith Wilson. All this and more beginning Monday on Weekday. Now stay tuned for College Quiz Bowl on NBC.
From the campuses of Oberlin College in Oberlin, Ohio, and Mount Holyoke College in South Hadley, Massachusetts, the National Broadcasting Company presents the College Quiz Bowl. Tonight, Oberlin College is back for the third time to defend their title in the College Quiz Bowl. And to challenge them, we have Mount Holyoke College from South Hadley, Massachusetts. And here in Radio City, New York, is your master of the quiz, Alan Ludden.
Hi there, everybody. It's good to have you with us for another intercollegiate battle of the brains. Now, before we get along with our game, let's meet the teams. First, we're going way up to Connecticut River Valley, to Mount Holyoke College, where the recent floods soaked the School of Music. And then we're going to meet the girls. Bruce Kern of station WTIC, Hartford, Connecticut, is on hand to referee for the Mount Holyoke team, so let's meet those girls, Bruce.
Right, Alan. It's high and dry up here right now, and I have four very bright and pretty young ladies here to introduce themselves.
Ellen Richards, Cologne, Germany.
Marilyn Dallas, Geneva, New York.
Eloise Gorton, Grosse Pointe, Michigan. Amy Hertz, Patterson, New Jersey.
All right, there you've met the team from Mount Holyoke College in South Hadley, Massachusetts. Now, let's move out to the Buckeye State, to Oberlin College in Oberlin, Ohio, to Jerry Liebman of station WTAM Cleveland, who is standing by to referee for the Oberlin College team. How's that Oberlin team tonight, Jerry?
Well, they're great tonight, Alan. This team has a determined look about it tonight, and I think that they're out to even up the score with Mount Holyoke for last year's defeat. Here they are right now to say hello. David Mitten, Stowe, Ohio.
Ernest Hook, Brooklyn, New York.
Carol Ayler, Birmingham, Michigan.
Allie Nesbitt, Wellesley Hills, Massachusetts.
All right, there we've met both teams. Now, before Roger Tuttle explains our rules, may I point out that we recognize the fact that here in the College Quiz Bowl, we're putting the emphasis on a quick recall of specific facts. But we're also trying to give you an opportunity to meet a few of the many remarkable, well-rounded personalities to be found today on every American campus. Okay, how about the rules, Rod?
Right, Alan, and here they are. Alan Ludden asks a toss-up question worth 10 points. And the first team to signal it knows the answer gets a chance to answer it. When Mount Holyoke College signals, you'll hear... And when Oberlin College signals, you'll hear... By means of a special electronic selector, the team which signals first activates its light here in New York City and makes it impossible for the other team's light to flash. If a team gives a wrong answer to the toss-up question, the other team is given a chance to answer it. And whichever team gives the right answer gets a bonus question worth a stated number of points. The team with the most points at the end of the game is the winner and returns next week to defend its title here in the College Quiz Bowl.
Thank you, Roger. Now, remember, teams, you may interrupt a toss-up question before I've finished asking it. But if you do, and if the answer is wrong, your team will be penalized 5 points, and I'll repeat the question, giving the other team a free crack at it. Okay, those are the rules. That's the opening whistle, so let's go. Your first bonus question tonight is worth 40 points. Here's the toss-up that could get it for you. You ready? If a hostess were to give a party to which she invited the daughters of King Lear and the wives of Henry VIII, how many guests would she have? Mount Holyoke.
Marilyn Nellis.
9.
9 is right for 10 points. Henry VIII had 6 wives, Lear had 3 daughters. Okay, Marilyn Nellis, you've got a chance here at a 40-point bonus for Mount Holyoke. It's a bonus question on significant numbers, appropriately enough. Numbers in American history. A quick 10 points apiece. 1, how many amendments to the Constitution?
22.
10 points. How many signers of the Declaration of Independence?
15, 25, 50.
No, I'm sorry.
24.
56. 56. That'd take a lot of guesses to get to that. All right? No credit there. How many states seceded from the Union to join... Seceded. Let's get that straight, huh? How many states seceded from the Union to join the Confederacy?
10. 11, 9.
11? Did
11,
I?
9.
You're fine.
You said 11.
No.
11.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
11.
What do we say? Pick an answer. Settle on one answer.
11.
11 is right. All right. Okay. No, all right. We've got to watch that sort of thing. But on a bonus question, I take a right answer when I hear it. And there we must settle. All right, here we go. On a toss-up, the reverse is true, you know. Now, how many ships in the Boston Tea Party?
3.
3 is right for 10 points. Okay, here we go now with another toss-up question coming up. There's a 30-point bonus on the theater in the offing. Here's your toss-up. For 10 points, quote the entire verse, which refers to a female child of schizophrenic deportment who had above her eyes an attractive, though not uncommon, hair arrangement. Oberlin.
Sally Nesbitt.
There was a little girl who had a little curl right in the middle of her forehead. When she was good, she was very, very good. And when she was bad, she was horrid.
That is exactly right for 10 points. Sally Nesbitt. Okay, you got a 30-point bonus here in Oberlin on the theater. And you'll tie it up if you get it. All right, 3 young personalities have emerged this season on Broadway as promising candidates for stardom. Now, I'm going to give you their names, and for 10 points apiece, you're to name the plays in which they are making their current successes. For 10 points, the play in which Andy Griffith has attracted so much attention.
Oh.
What is that? Which one?
Andy Griffith.
Something by Mailer? Is it one of the Mailer plays?
No. No Time for Sergeants.
Oh.
He is sensational in it. All right? Young Lois Smith. What is her current play on Broadway?
Wait a minute.
Lois Smith.
I don't know.
Oberlin.
No.
The Young and the Beautiful. The Young and the Beautiful.
The one.
All right, here we go. This is the daughter of a very famous man of the theater.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Susan Strasser.
Diary of Anne Frank.
All right, the Diary of Anne Frank. You got that 10 points, all right? Now, before we move along to another bonus cross-up question, let's find out what the stakes are in this quiz game. Roger Tuttle.
Each week, the National Broadcasting Company will award to the school of the winning team a $500 cash award to be administered by the college. This may go to a scholarship fund or to a campus activity. And each member of the losing team will receive an attractive and dependable Whitnauer wristwatch, a distinguished product of the Longines Whitnauer Watch Company. Since 1866, makers of watches of the highest character. Well, those are the stakes. Now, with 14 and a half minutes to go, the score, Mount Holyoke 40, Oberlin College 20. Back to you, Alan, and a toss-up.
And I have a 20-point musical bonus in the offing. Here's the toss-up. For 10 points, what American hero put in Bay? Oberlin.
David Mitten. Oliver Hazard Perry.
Right, for 10 points. Okay, David Mitten, you got a 20-point musical bonus here. Not a very difficult one. You ought to have a very good time with it. Both of the compositions that you were about to hear describe a specific thing and a specific place. For 10 points each, you must tell us what and where. All right? What and where in this title?
Fountains of Rome.
Right. Fountains of Rome. All right? Now, remember, you must tell us what and where. I want only really 2 answers here. Now tell us what and where in the title of this composition.
Pines of Rome.
What? Pines of Rome. What? Pines, where, Rome. You got it. 20 points. Score time, Raj.
Right now, 13 and a half minutes to go, Alan. Oberlin has now climbed out ahead with 50 points. Mount Holyoke has 40.
And I have a 30-point bonus in the offing. Here's the toss-up that could get it for you. If a pitcher goofed and pitched a gopher ball for 10 points, what precisely would happen to the ball? Mount Holyoke. Amy Hurst.
Go into the stands as a homer.
That's right, for 10 seconds. I you the girls of the ball players. What do you know? All right, here's your 30-point bonus, Mount Holyoke. A sailor named Selkirk served as the model for Robinson Crusoe, as I'm sure you know. Now, for 10 points apiece, what fictional characters were modeled after each of the following? The American author, Louisa May Alcott.
Joe March.
Joe March in
Little Women.
Right, for 10 points. All right. The Irish doctor, Oliver St. John Gogarty.
Sherlock Holmes. No,
Dr. Watson?
No. Buck Mulligan in James Joyce's Ulysses.
Oh.
You knew that?
Yes.
All right. I thought you did. The Scotch Deacon, William Brodie.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Right, for 10 points. Scoring time now, Roger.
12 minutes to go, Alan. Mount Holyoke is now once again ahead, 70 points. Oberlin College has 50 points.
And I have a 20-point bonus in the offing. Boy, here we go. For 10 points, tell us who magnanimously stated there are 3 or 4 good men in Illinois. Oberlin.
David Mitten.
Harry Truman.
Right, for 10 points. Back and forth. You got a 20-point bonus here, Oberlin. You know, Russell Chase Harrington will become a familiar, though not necessarily endearing name to millions of Americans in the next 5 months. For 20 points, Oberlin, why?
He took over T. Coleman Andrews' job in the Internal Revenue Bureau.
That's right, for 20 points. I have a 30-point musical bonus. Scoring time, Rod.
Right now, Alan, the seesaw battle, Oberlin College is out in front again. 80 points to Mount Holyoke, 70 points.
30-point musical bonus coming up. Here's your toss-up for 10 points. For 10 points, quote, the 2 lines of Shakespeare that immediately precede. You got that? Immediately precede these. Upon the place beneath, it is twice blessed. Mount Holyoke.
Marilyn Nellis.
The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven.
Right, for 10 points. Okay, you got now 88. Here we go with the musical bonus, Mount Holyoke. Worth 30 points, if you're very careful. I'm going to play now 2 very colorful compositions. That is, there's a color mentioned in each. Your job is to take the color in the first, subtract it from the color in the second, and give us the result. Listen now to each song. First. All right. Okay, now, second.
Of those.
What's the answer?
Blue.
Blue is the answer for 30 points. Okay, a musical toss-up next. A musical toss-up next. Are we ready? Nope, we're not ready, so I won't use it. Here we go with another toss-up. I still got a 30-point bonus in the offing. The bonus questions are in a precise order. A 30-point bonus in the offing. Here's your toss-up. For 10 points, what very specifically did the inventor of the Reaper and the man who laid the Atlantic cable have in common? Mount Holyoke.
Marilyn Nellis.
They were both named Cyrus.
That's right, for 10 points. Cyrus McCormick and Cyrus Steele. Okay, we got a 30-point bonus here, Mount Holyoke. Now, you know, Holyoke, 4 states of the United States are designated in their constitutions as commonwealths and not as states. 5 points for each of these commonwealths you can name, and 30 points if you name them all.
Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Wait, all right, let me hear that. What?
Massachusetts.
Yes.
Rhode Island. Wisconsin. South Carolina. Michigan.
No, I would say you got 5 points. 5 points for properly naming Massachusetts. No other credit, though. The other states involved, Massachusetts, Virginia, Kentucky, and Pennsylvania are the 4 states known as Commonwealth. That was 5 points for you there, Marco.
Hold it, Alan. That's the halftime whistle, which calls for a timeout.
Okay, I got about a minute here to talk to each of these teams. Let me point out to our friends in the audience one thing very clearly. Each week, it is our policy to meet the individual members of the challenging team and to talk to one member of the winning team so that you don't feel that I discriminate, all right? First of all, now let's meet the individual members of our challenging team. Mount Holyoke College, Ellen Richards. How are you classified?
I'm a junior.
And your major?
International Economics and Politics.
Oh. What are you going to do when you graduate?
Well, I hope to work in Europe because...
Yes?
Because my family is over there now.
Weren't you on the team last year from Mount Holyoke?
Yes, I was, Alan, and I was from Brazil last year.
Oh. Well, you get around. Marilyn Nellis, how are you classified?
I'm a junior, Alan.
Your major?
Chemistry.
Your plans?
Graduate school.
Where?
I don't know yet.
In chemistry?
I think so.
Very good. Louie.
Right.
Eloise Gorton, I should say. Eloise Gorton, how are you classified?
I'm a junior, Alan.
Your major?
Latin.
And your plans upon graduation?
I want to go to grad school somewhere. I don't know where as yet.
Fine. Amy Hertz.
Here I am, Alan.
How are you classified?
I'm a sophomore.
Well, you must be very smart to be on the team as a sophomore. What's your major?
Well, I'm not smart enough to know that, Alan, yet. You don't have to major till our junior year.
You have no idea what it will be?
Well, perhaps political science.
Okay, well, good luck. It's nice to have you girls from Mount Holyoke here. Now let's go out to Oberlin and talk tonight to Sally Nesbitt. I understand Oberlin has a very great historical importance in this country, particularly in the field of education. Why?
Well, it starts in 1833 when it was established as the first coeducational school institution in the United States. And we've always been proud of the fact that we're not just interested in studying books, but that it's had a...
What else do you study?
Oh, current events. In other words, I think Dave mentioned the mock convention last week.
Yeah.
And Oberlin was also one of the important stations in the Underground Railway during the Civil War for the escaped slaves.
Okay, that's very interesting. Oberlin is a very fine school, and the country's lucky to have it with us. Believe me. Now, let's get back to the quiz.
All right, Alan, with the time 6.5 minutes to go, Mount Holyoke College has 125, Oberlin College has 80, and back to another toss-up.
Okay, I got a toss-up question here. It's a very fast one. It's a classical music toss-up for 10 points. Incidentally, I have a 25-point bonus in the offing. A 25-pointer here. For 10 points, name the composer of this composition. Oberlin.
David Mitten.
Pretty Gros
Fay. Pretty Gros Fay.
David Mitten. Okay. All right. All right. It's a toss-up question. I accept one answer, and for the person called, Mr. McGregor, rule. David Mitten and the girl answered, but he was there with it. All right, we'll give it to you because I think both of you knew it. All right, I think our audience will agree. I hope our audience agrees. You got a 25-point bonus here, Oberlin. John Donne and Christopher Marlowe each commenced a poem with the identical first line. For 25 points, quote that line.
Something about a graveyard or something?
No. I wonder what Ellen and I did still we loved. Will we not be until then? The good love.
Well,
no. Go and catch a falling star.
Oh, no. Wait a minute. Oh, Drat, it's the one that started.
Time is called. Come live with me and be my love. First line of Marlowe's a passionate shepherd to his love, and Donne's the bait. All right, I got a 20-point bonus. A 20-point bonus in the offing. Here's your toss-up. For 10 points. Why might Ezra Taft Benson be more than ordinarily interested in the well-known game played with babies' digits? Mount Holyoke.
Ellen
It's
Richard.
about pigs, and there's quite a hog situation in the agricultural. The hog prices are going down.
We accept it, honey. We accept it. Do you know exactly what that hog situation is?
The prices are falling.
The prices are falling? There's a pork surplus. That's right. And, of course, the game with babies' digits is this little pig went to market.
Yes.
This little pig stayed home. Benson is having just exactly that problem. You got a 20-point bonus, Mount Holyoke, for pulling that one out of the woods. All right. 10 points. Each time, Mount Holyoke, you identify the famous battle. Now, I want the battle here in which the following famous charges occurred. Pickett's charge.
Battle of Gettysburg.
Right. The charge of the Light Brigade.
The Battle of Balaclava.
Right, for 10 points. That's a full 20-point bonus. All right, 10 points each. A musical bonus is next, worth 20 points. Here's your toss-up that might get it for you. Scoring time, Roger.
Right now, 4 minutes to go. Mount Holyoke has climbed out in front with 155. Oberlin College has 90.
All right, and I have a 20-point bonus. Here's your toss-up. For 10 points, tell us, whom did the biblical Boaz take for his wife? Oberlin.
David Mitten.
Ruth. Right, Ruth, for 10 points. Here's your 20-point bonus, Oberlin. It's a fast musical bonus worth 20 points to test your powers of observation. Now, listen very carefully. It's a very popular new Eddie Fisher record, and for 20 points, tell me the exact, now this is the trick, the exact title on the label of this record.
If you go north or south, if you go east or west, I'll follow you, sweetheart, in your little love nest.
All right. You don't know it?
I don't know it.
I want to go where you go, do what you do. That is the exact title. Subtitle, then I'll be happy. All right. Got a 25-point bonus coming up. Here's your toss-up for 10 points. What four-letter word can be used to describe both a roguish person and an architectural device? Oberlin.
I was going to say puck.
Carol Ayler.
I'm going to say puck.
Can you take it, Mount Holyoke?
We'll try. They were in the middle of it.
What?
They interrupted it in the middle. Could you repeat it?
All right, penalize them 5 points. You're right, Mr. McGregor, they did. I didn't finish the last word. 5 points penalized Oberlin. Repeat the entire question for Mount Holyoke. For 10 points, what four-letter word can be used to describe both a roguish person and an architectural device?
A square?
No, an arch. All right, a 25... Well, when in doubt, say square. All right, 25-point bonus coming up. Here's your toss-up. For 10 points, who said, if there were as many devils at Worms as tiles on its roofs, I would enter? Mount Holyoke.
Ellen Richards.
Martin Luther.
Right, for 10 points. Martin Luther. It's a 25-point bonus for you, Mount Holyoke. At one time, foolish people called them follies. Now, for 5 points apiece, I want you to identify the following follies. First, Fulton's folly.
The steamboat.
Right. Drake's folly.
Roanoke. The colonization.
Nope. The first oil well. The first oil well. You do not give... That's not... All right. Seward's folly.
Purchase of Alaska.
Right, for 5 points. Erickson's folly.
The Monitor.
Right, for 5 points. Clinton's folly.
The big ditch. The canal.
All right, the Erie Canal. All right, scoring time now, Roger.
We have a minute and a half to go, Alan. We're figuring up the score. Oberlin College has 95. Mount Holyoke now has 185.
All right, and I have a 15-point bonus in the offing. Here's the toss-up for 10 points. Complete this relationship question. President William Henry Harrison was to President Benjamin Harrison as King George VI is to whom, or was to whom? Oberlin.
Ernest Hook, I'm sorry.
Queen Elizabeth.
Can you take it, Mount Holyoke?
We'll try Ellen Richards.
No takers. Prince Charles or Princess Anne. On a toss-up, you must work fast. 15-point bonus still in the offing. The relationship, of course, was grandfather to grandchild. Here's your toss-up. Samuel Johnson once said, we fill our houses with useless ornaments only to show that we can buy them. Now, what phrase did Thurston Veblen use to describe this phenomenon? Mount Holyoke.
Ellen Richards.
The theory of the leisure class.
No, can you take it, Oberlin?
Conspicuous consumption.
Right, for 10 points. Conspicuous consumption. You got a 15-point bonus there, Oberlin, for 15 points. According to poetic prediction, what fell apart exactly 100 years ago yesterday? 100 years yesterday.
David Mitten, the one-horse shay.
The one-horse shay. Deacon's wonderful one-horse shay. Oh.
I'm sorry, Alan. That's it. The time is up. The game is over for this week. The final score in the College Quiz Bowl tonight is 120 points for Oberlin College and 185 points for the winner, Mount Holyoke College. To each member of the Oberlin College team, it's our pleasure to award an attractive and dependable Whitnor wristwatch, a distinguished product of the Longines Whitnor Watch Company. Since 1866, makers of watches of the highest character. For fielding the winning team tonight, Mount Holyoke will receive a $500 cash award from the National Broadcasting Company to be administered by the college. And these varsity scholars from Mount Holyoke College will return next week to meet Colgate University in Hamilton, New York. All right, in this all-American quiz game. Here once again, your master of the quiz, Alan Lutz.
I want to congratulate the fine scholars from Oberlin College, to Sally Nesbitt, Carol Ayler, and I pronounced it right, Ernest Hook, David Mitten. You got 125 points tonight in a very tight-fought battle, and I think you all did magnificently, and your audience should applaud you vigorously right now. Okay? And, of course, I want to congratulate the brilliant girls from Mount Holyoke College. Next week, these brilliant girls from Mount Holyoke College, score. 120 was Oberlin's final score. All right. Next week, Mount Holyoke College meets Colgate University. In the following weeks, we have varsity scholars from Hold Your Hats, Girls, Princeton University, and Wesleyan University in Middletown, Connecticut. I hope you'll join us again next week. This is Alan Ludden saying so long, everybody.
Tonight were for Mount Holyoke College, Bruce Kern of station WTIC in Hartford, Connecticut, and for Oberlin College, Jerry Liebman of station WTAM in Cleveland, Ohio. College Quiz Bowl is an NBC Radio Network presentation, originated and produced by John Moses and Don Reed, written by Nancy Phobes and directed by Ken McGregor.
Monitor takes you everywhere each weekend on NBC Radio.
Peeneman presents Double or Nothing. Yes, just three little words, Double or Nothing. Radio's most exciting quiz show. Presented by Peeneman, the modern chewing gum laxative. Music by Nat Buselaw, songs by Frank Porter. And that devastating dispenser of the do-re-mi, that man with the Morgenthau Mazuma, John Reed King.
Thank you, Aloy Zavrella. And now pull the quiz switch and roll out the corps of colorful contestants called from here and abroad.
Well, John, in number one position tonight, Feeneman turns the kilocycle spotlight on a fighting serviceman from a fighting ally. His home is in London, England. Here is RAF pilot officer William Preston.
Good evening, Mr. Preston. Are you nervous, sir?
Just a bit, I'm afraid.
All right. Is this your first trip to America?
Yes.
I see. Well, tell me, have you ever been on a radio program before?
No, never.
Never have. Well, what impressed you most about New York?
Well, height of the buildings and speed of the cabs.
Speed of the cabs, eh?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, they're driving the wrong side of the road.
They all drive on the wrong side of the road. Oh. Well, all right. Our Feeneman Double or Nothing Grand Slam question. One question we ask of all the contestants, and the nearest correct reply wins a wonderful surprise prize, Mr. Preston. The question, what is the average span of life of the modern American woman? What would you say? Take a guess if you don't know. Looking around at all the ladies in the first three rows. All right. What would you say?
Somewhere around 70, I should say.
About 70. We'll put that down for you, Pilot Officer Preston. And as you know, on Double or Nothing, Feeneman starts the ball a-rolling with 5 questions, each worth $5. If you miss on any one, that's where you stop collecting. But if you get all 5 right, you have a chance to double your money, not once but twice, making it $100, double or nothing. What do you do with $100 if you win it, Mr. Preston?
Spend it.
Yo. That's what he was going to say. But what will you buy with it, sir? Well, that's fine. That's very good. Anything else? You were going to buy something to take home with you, or what?
I'd buy it.
Right in the...
Something we can't get back home, you know?
Oh, what was like what?
Like cosmetics.
Cosmetics. Or nylon stockings?
Yes,
Can't get those here either. All right, now. All right, here we go. Our Feeneman Double or Nothing session for you involves the foods of different countries. I'll name the foods. You name the countries from which they come. For $5, Scrapple comes from what country? For $5.
I should say it's American.
That is American. $5. Good. All right. You have $5. Would you like to try for another Feeneman 5, sir?
Yes.
All right, here we go for $5 more to make it 10. Fish and chips come from what country?
They come in England.
They come from England. Good. You know, I went into a restaurant the other day and ordered the $3 dinner. The waiter looked at me and said, $3 dinner? How do you want that, white or rye? But I didn't like it either. Well, anyway, you have $10 so far. Would you like to try to make $5 more? Yes. All right, here we go. Smorgasbord comes from what country? Smorgasbord.
I should say Sweden.
That is Sweden. Good for you. All right. You've got 15. You want to try to make it 5 more? Pilot out from Preston.
Might as well
try. All right, here we go. Borscht comes from what country? Pardon me, ma'am. I didn't see you in the first round. Borscht. Borscht comes from what country? Borscht. B-O-R-S-C-H-T. Borscht. $5 more.
I'd say Germany.
Take another guess there. Borscht comes from what country? We're making borscht of Germany right now, but borscht comes from what country? I don't want to rush you now, but we've got to have the answer.
Italy.
Huh?
Italy? I don't know what borscht is.
Let's not rush into this, but I'll give you one more chance. Now, please, don't rush in. Can you tell me what country borscht comes from?
Russia.
Russia! Well, we worked for that, didn't we? You have $20. Do you want to try for 5 more, Pilot Officer Preston?
Yes, please.
Might as well. All right, here we go. Talking about food, you look rather hungry. Are you hungry?
Yes, I am at the moment.
Well, here's 7 hot dogs. Came along hungry. There's another one here. I didn't see that. Here we go. $5 more. Another Feeneman 5. Here we go. Poi. P-O-I comes from what country? How are you, ma'am? Thank you. Lady down front. How are you? Fine. Poi comes from what country? Huh? Not, please don't call out the answer. You didn't hear that, did you? I didn't either.
How do you spell it?
P-O-I. P-O-I. Poi. Poi, this
Somewhere
is tough, isn't it? What? From where?
Hawaii.
Hawaii is right. Good. $25. You've collected $25 so far. Do you want to take the $25 and sit down, or you want to try to double it and make it 50? Pilot Officer Preston, how do you think? How about it, audience? What's it going to be? You're going to try to double it? All right, you got $25 here. You're going to try to make it 50. From what country do we get the food pizza? P-I-Z-Z-A. Shh, please don't call out the answers.
Italy?
Italy is right. $50. You know, fine. You got 50. You want to take the 50 and sit down, or you want to try to double it and make it 100? Huh?
Might as well double it while we're...
What do you think, audience? You want to try to double it? He wants to try to double it. Here we go for $100, and please don't call out the answer. Tortilla comes from what country? T-O-R-T-I-L-L-A. Tortilla. From what country, tortilla?
Spain?
Spain is right. Good for you. $100. Very, very fine. That was swell. And now, Frank Forrest, before you bring on our next guest, I want to tell our alert listeners how they helped last week's foreign serviceman guest upset the decision of our judges. You remember we asked Sub-Lieutenant Ted Arden of the Royal New Zealand Navy to name the country in which the newspaper Le Figaro is published.
Right, John. Ted answered Italy. But our records reported France. So our New Zealand friends struck out on the double troubler question, losing $80.
But then the telephone callers clogged our Double or Nothing switchboard, all of them insisting that another Le Figaro is published in Italy. American fair play came to the aid of an ally.
Yes, John, and to prove it, here is Lieutenant Arden to collect his belated cash bundle of $80 in good old U.S. cash.
He's right there in the audience. Come on up, Lieutenant. Good for you. Very good to see you again. Get out that roll of money there, the $80. Congratulations. I'm glad you won out on the $80, and Uncle Wellington here is going to give it to you right away from Phenom, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Okay. All right, Frank. Mr. Strick, what's next?
Well, from Lincoln, Nebraska comes Seaman Second Class Florence Studer of the Waves.
How do you do, Miss Studer?
How do you do?
Who was that sailor I saw you talking to earlier?
Well, that was my brother.
Your brother?
He's here from Washington, D.C.
I see. Well, we're glad to have him, too. And now I want to ask you our Phenom and Double or Nothing Grand Slam question for the surprise prize. What is the average span of life of the modern American woman? What would you say?
Well, I don't know just what I would say to that.
Well, take a guess. She's thinking. She's thinking.
Well, how about maybe 65 or 70?
65. Well, you have to take one number or the other.
Well, 70.
70. All right, here we go. All right, Phenom takes you to the movies for your Double or Nothing session tonight. What picture have you enjoyed most this year?
Destination Tokyo.
Really? Did you hold hands? No, now, Double or Nothing asked you to name places by completing motion picture titles that I will mention. For instance, for $5, what's the destination in the title? Destination?
Tokyo.
$5. Oh, that was easy. All right, you have $5. You want to try for another $5? How about it, Miss Studer?
Well, I'll try it.
All right, what's the destination in the picture? Lloyd's of... Shh, please don't call out the answers. Lloyd's of...
I don't think I saw that show.
Well, I know, but it was advertised a lot. Lloyd's of...
Torrington?
What? I'm sorry, Miss Studer, one more guess. Lloyd's of...
London?
Lloyd's of London. Good. All right. You have $10. You want to try for another Phenom and 5, Miss Studer?
Oh, I don't know. I'll try.
All right. What's the destination in the title? The Miracle of... Very recent picture. The Miracle of... You know? Take a guess if you don't know. The Miracle of...
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Well, that was The Miracle of Morgan's Creek, but you won $10, and thank you very much for coming up, Miss Studer. Good for you. And now, before our next contestant makes his try for fame and fortune, the microphone is yours, Aloy Zavrella.
Thank you, John Reed King. And speaking of thanks, friends, one of the grandest things about my job of selling Phenom is this. People are so thankful to learn about this delicious candy-coated chewing gum laxative. You will be, too, once you try Phenom. It's great to know that now you can forget about bad-tasting, unpleasant laxatives. And the fact that it tastes so good is only one reason why up-to-the-minute folks by the millions have turned to Phenom. Here's something even more important. The fact that you chew Phenom means you get the most good of its famous medicine. It's easy to see why. You know how chewing your food helps it digest properly and do you the most good. And Phenom works on a similar principle. Chewing it readies its medicine to give you the greatest benefit. So, when the need of a laxative has you feeling headachy and listless, simply chew delicious Phenament as directed on the package and feel like a million again. Ask your druggist for Phenament right away.
Thanks for the sound advice, Aloys. All right, Frank, who is our next quiz entry?
Phenament wants you to meet a native New Yorker, John, Mr. Ben Handler.
Well, good for you, Mr. Handler, right up here. I want to welcome you, sir. What is your occupation, Mr. Handler? What's your business?
I'm an Internal Revenue agent.
You mean like income tax and such?
Well, income tax and such.
Really?
Honestly.
Oh. You must be one of those Morgenthau pin-up boys, yes.
Sort of.
Well, have you paid your income tax yet?
Have I paid my income tax?
Have you? Oh, empty pockets. Empty pockets, too. All right. All right. Suppose I came down to your office and asked you a lot of questions like how many miles to the moon and what's the national income?
Wait now, John. You come down to my office. Yeah. We'll do the questioning. You just sit, you know. Double or nothing.
All right. Now, here we go. Our Phenament Double or Nothing Grand Slam question for the surprise prize, if I may, Mr. Handler. What is the average span of life of the modern American woman?
Now you're taxing me.
Yeah, sure. Oh, here we go. Field day of puns. All right. What is the average span of life of the modern American woman? Fill out the return, will you, Mr. Handler? Fill it out.
I'd say about 66.
66, all right. Now, this is a musical double or nothing session with tunes that suggest various states. Phenament wants you to name the state suggested. For instance, for $5, what state does this tune suggest? Listen. What's it?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, that's right. Good for you. You have $5. You want to try for another Phenament 5?
I do.
All right, here we go, sir. What state does this tune by Nat Brusiloff and the orchestra suggest?
Oh, California.
California, $5 more. All right. Now, you have $10 so far, and don't forget to report this in your income tax, Mr. Handler.
You can bet your life I will.
Okay, now, you want to add another 5 more, or will that put you in the upper bracket? All right. What state does this suggest? Yes, sir.
Carolina.
Carolina in the morning. You've got $15. You know, Mr. Handler, when I was a boy, I was quite the singer of the neighborhood, and I still have the scars to prove it right there. Now, you have 15. You want to try for $5 more from Phenament?
I think I'll try it.
All right, here we go. And listen very carefully to this tune. What state does this suggest? Mr. Handler, what state?
Alabama.
Alabama. Good. You've got another $5 there. You're doing fine. You have collected so far $20. You want to try for 5 more?
I'll try it.
All right. Frank Forrest joins us to sing this one. What state?
Wabash moon, keep shining on the one who waits for me.
Mr. Handler, what state are we in? Musically. Wabash moon.
Wabash River, Wabash Railroad. Let's see now. Morton Downey.
Yeah, I think we can put the $5 away. I don't think he's going to get it here.
Indiana.
Indiana, yes. Good. $25. You have $25, Mr. Handler. You want to take the 25 and sit down, or you want to try to double it and make it 50 with the double or nothing question?
Well,
What do you think, audience? Huh? What do you think?
As Morgenthau says...
Yeah?
We, the government, take what we can get.
Take what you can get.
Never mind double or nothing.
Oh,
Now, John, here's a housewife from Ridgewood, Brooklyn, who... Oh, wait a minute. Who, when she isn't busy with skilled skilleting, she's a supreme pianist and secretary of the Independent Order of Reindeer. So, my young buck... Let's get up the dough for this dear lady, or we'll both wind up in her trophy room. Phenament goes quiz hunting with Mrs. Minnie Houston.
All right, welcome, Mrs. Houston. That's right. Not too sure where the mic. I want to welcome you, Mrs. Houston. I understand you're the supreme pianist and secretary of the Independent Order of Reindeer.
I am, and we also have a supreme vice president here also.
You mean the ladies down front?
We have supreme officer also here.
Well, let's give them a hand, too. All right, that's fine. That's well. Are you having a lot of fun?
Oh, wonderful time, girls.
Would you like to announce the program and ask me the question?
No.
All right, our Freedom at Double or Nothing Grand Slam question for the surprise prize, Mrs. Houston. Here we go. What is the average span of life of the modern American woman?
Well, I should judge about...
Now, waving your arms. Go ahead.
49.
Right into the microphone.
49 years.
49 years of age.
Of age.
All right. May I ask how old? Here we go.
Yes.
How old are you?
6 past 21.
Past 21. Past 21. All right. Do you have any popular tune or song that you associate with yourself? One pop tune that you like better than any other?
Only the,
There's a couple of reindeers down
Yeah,
front.
now, reindeer song, girls.
You like the reindeer song?
Absolutely.
All right. What else? What other popular?
And America.
And America. Good for you. Now, Phenomen's Double or Nothing session for you asks you to think. Stop waving your arms, Mrs. Houston. I know you're a little nervous, but relax. Double or Nothing asks you to think back and tell us what singer a song suggests. For instance, the song Sonny Boy would suggest Al Jolson, who made it famous. But for $5, what singer would the song Where the Blue of the Night Meets the Gold of the Day suggest? What singer?
Thomas,
No, it's the very famous singer, The Blue of the Night Meets the Gold of the Day. $5. And you'll bing it right on the nose if you get it right. Can you, Shh, please don't call out the answer. Where the blue of the night meets the gold of the day. Let's see you bing it right on the nose and get this for the first time.
Bing Crosby.
Bing Crosby. All right. Well, we do work, don't we? Have you ever swooned at a singer, Mrs. Houston?
No.
No, huh?
No. I love to hear him swoon, but I don't swoon.
You don't swoon
No.
yourself? You mean you can't throw... Please, in the first row. Yeah, the reindeers are screaming. All right. Steady, girls, steady. You have $5. Would you like to try for $5 more, Mrs. Houston?
I think so.
All right. What singer does this song suggest? When the moon comes over the mountain?
Kate
Smith, $10. All right. You have $10. You want to try for another Phenomen 5?
I think so.
All right. What singer does this song suggest? Home on the Range.
Thomas? No, Thomas Charles Mason?
You got the names right, but you haven't got them in the right order.
Charles Thomas?
John Charles Thomas. Let's give her that. All right. You got $15. Do you know that song, Home in the Range?
No, but I... No,
Do you have a range at home?
No.
No, all right. Well, never mind. Now,
Only a cooking range.
Only a cooking range.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I brought it up. All right. Now, look. You have 15. You want to try for $5 more?
I think so.
All right. What singer does this song suggest? My time is your time. Please don't call out the answer. My time is your time. So let's see whether you can get the answer to that. What singer? Huh? What singer?
No, I don't think so.
You can't get it? You can't get it?
No.
It was Rudy Valley that sang that song and made it famous.
I'm sorry.
And you get $15 just the same, Mrs. Houston, and thanks a lot. Good for you.
And now, John, landing on our quiz stage and confident he'll have the situation well in hand, is this hardy leatherneck from Cleveland, Ohio. Phenomen fashions a friendly salute to United States Marine Private First Class Alexander Zaremba.
Welcome, Private Zaremba. What theaters of operation have you been in so far, Private?
ETO, sir.
ETO,
Yes.
European Theater, and round over there. Well, good
Yes.
for you. I want to welcome you. Our Phenomen Double or Nothing Grand Slam question for the surprise prize. What is the average span of life of the modern American woman? You're not married, are you?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you are?
Yes, sir.
Your wife may be listening in then.
Yes, sir.
All right. Here we go. What is the average span of life of the modern American woman, Private Zaremba?
About 58, sir.
About 58. Have you ever boxed, engaged in prize fighting, or fought of any kind like that in the ring?
Yes, sir.
You have? Man, you must have got knocked out. Was I was a boxer once. My folks had great plans for me as a boxer, And in the first round of my first fight, they saw their great plans being carried out. But our Phenom Double or Nothing session for you has to do with the prize ring, the boxing world. For $5, in what branch of the service is heavyweight champ Joe Louis?
The Army.
United States Army. You've got 5. All right. Private Zaremba of the Marines. Here we go. You have 5. You want to try for 5 more from Phenom?
Yes.
All right. Here we go. In what branch of the service is fighter Barney Ross?
U.S. Marine.
He's in the U.S. Marines. Good. You got 10. You want to try for 5 more? All right. In what branch of the service is former champ Gene Tunney?
Navy.
Navy. You see everybody do it. All right. You have 15. Speaking of fighters, I heard about one who sparred with a wow of a wave and got whacked, but I don't think I was into it. Now, you have 15. You want to try for 5 more?
Yes, sir.
All right. In what branch of the service is former champ Jack Dempsey for $5 more? Shh, please. Huh?
Coast Guard.
Coast Guard. Good. You've got 20. Oh, you have 20. You want to try for 5 more from Phenom?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all right, so here we go. In what branch of the service, this is a toughie, is fighter Benny Leonard? Well, think around, brother, before you answer. $5 riding here. Benny Leonard, what branch of the service? Private Zaremba of the Marines. You tell me the answer to that. Huh? Do you
Maritime
know?
service?
Maritime service. Yes, that's right. Good for you. You have $25 from Phenom. Do you want to retire or you want to try to double it and make it $50? Double or nothing. Huh? What do you think, audience? Huh? What's it going to be, Private Zaremba?
Double it.
Double. All right, here we go. For $50, how many rounds at least does a heavyweight title boxing bout have to go in New York State for $50? How many rounds?
That's easy. 15.
15 is right. Good for you. You have 50. You want to take the 50 and sit down, or you want to try to double it with a double troubler and make it $100? Private Zaremba, what's it going to be? Try to double it?
Double.
All right, here we go. Name the fighter who held 3 boxing titles simultaneously at any time in the past 5 years, and don't call out the answer. Have you got it? For $100, Private Zaremba. What is it?
Is that what S?
Huh? No, that's not the answer. He held 3 boxing titles simultaneously.
Henry Armstrong.
Henry Armstrong. $100. Right. And now, here is Aloy Zabrilla with a special word for some of our very special listeners.
Yes, it's something all of you mothers will be mighty glad to hear. You know how bad you feel when your children get listless and out of sorts, and then when they cry and carry on because you have to give them bad-tasting medicine? It's just the last straw. Well, ladies, when a laxative is what they need, give them Phenom, the delicious candy-coated chewing gum laxative. It tastes so good that children welcome it. They're glad to take Phenom when it's needed. And grown-ups feel the same way about it. Why, anyone who likes good gum is bound to like Phenom. Now, mind you, it's quite all right to chew Phenom at any time and exactly as directed on the package. But if you prefer it at bedtime, remember this. Just a few minutes of chewing Phenom gives you all the medicine you need. You sleep undisturbed and feel fine again next morning. So next time you or any member of your family feels headachy and listless because a laxative is needed, make it Phenom. Buy Phenom in one of the 5 economical package sizes the very next time you're at the drugstore. And keep a supply on hand so you'll have it when it's needed. Have you got that name? It's Phenemint. Phenom, the modern laxative you chew like gum.
Thank you, Aloy Zavrilla. From the Broadway musical hit Mexican Hayride, Frank Forrest sings the Cole Porter song, I Love You.
If a love song I should only write, a song with words and music divine, I would serenade you every night, till you'd relent and consent to be mine. But alas, just an amateur am I, and so I'll not be surprised, my dear, if you smile and politely pass it by. When this my first love song you'll hear love you. Comes an April breeze. I love you. Echo the hills. I love you. The golden dawn agrees as once more she sees daffodils. It's spring again, the birds on the wing again start to sing again the old melody. I love you, that's the song of songs, and it all belongs to you and me. It's spring again, the birds on the wing again start to sing again the old melody. I love you, that's the song of songs, and it all belongs to you and me, and it all belongs to you and me.
Frank, you're due to sing in exactly 10 minutes over at Madison Square Gardens. Instead, here's the answer to our Phenom and Double or Nothing Grand Slam question for the surprise prize. We asked, what is the average span of life of the modern American woman? The correct answer, according to the 1940 census figures, the average span of life of the modern American woman is 64 years. So the Phenom and Double or Nothing Grand Slam surprise prize goes to the contestant with the nearest correct answer, Mr. Ben Handler, who said 66 years. And first of all, you win a complete crystal and silver cordial set with etched glasses to go with it. Next of all, a large crystal and silver water pitcher. Next, a complete electric coffee brewer set there on a hostess tray. And we're going to double the money you won on the show tonight. How much did you win?
I won $25.
You get 50. All right. Good for you, Mr. Ben Handler. Double or nothing. And there you have it, listeners. 3 little words, double or nothing, and now, reluctantly, our 3 more little words, pleasant good night. From Frank Forrest, Nat Brusiloff, Aloy Zabrilla, and yours truly, John Reed King.
The appearance of Army and Navy personnel on this program does not constitute an endorsement of our product, since the War Department does not endorse any product. Do you want speedy yet ever so pleasant relief from the miseries of heartburn, sour stomach, and headaches caused by acid indigestion?
Then get tasty chewing gum Chews. Chews gives you not 1, not 2, but 3 active medicines doctors often prescribe to prevent or relieve acid indigestion.
Chews looks and tastes like minty candy-coated chewing gum. You will enjoy it like gum, yet it's extra effective because you chew it.
And what's more, you can chew handy Chews at the office, at the movies, wherever you are, whenever acid indigestion strikes.
Get Chews right away. Only 10 cents for 10 delicious candy-coated tablets. And your money back if you don't say Chews is the tastiest, speediest relief you've ever known for acid indigestion. That's C-H-O-O-Z, Chews. This is Mutual.
Presenting the newest fun show in radio. Your Crossword Quiz. Yes, it's your Crossword Quiz with David Gilmour as Master of Ceremonies and the game that everyone can play. You don't have to be in the studio to play Crossword Quiz or to win prizes and have fun. You can win in your own home, so stick around for the newest fun show in radio. Now here's your quick-witted, cross-wired Crossword Quiz Master, David Gilmour.
Thank you, Mike Roy, and a puzzling good evening to all you happy Crossword Quiz fans. I hope you all enjoy playing our little Crossword Quiz puzzle game. Really, it's very simple. As a matter of fact, just before we went on the air tonight, I ran into Bob Hope in the hall, and I said, Bob, what's a 10-letter word that stands for the icing on a cake? You know, the topping. And quick as a flash, he came back with Lana Turner. Now, while I'm lining up our studio contestants and you're sharpening your wits and your pencils, here is Mike Roy again to pave the way with a few rules, regulations, rights, and privileges.
All right, Dave, and here's the way your Crossword Quiz operates. In the studio, we have a huge crossword puzzle. The same Crossword Quiz puzzle you folks at home have before you on the contest entry form you picked up at your favorite retailers or requested from the station to which you are listening. On the air tonight, our Crossword Quiz studio contestants will solve part of your puzzle for you. So listen carefully as we go along. Fill in the free words as they're given to you. You'll need them all to complete your puzzle and become eligible for our wonderful prizes.
Just play along with us here in the studio. Suppose we use our announcer, Mike Roy, as a guinea pig. Come on over here, Mike. Now I'm going to give you 5 silver dollars.
Something tells me that I'm going to like this.
Promise me that you won't leave town until the show's over.
That's a deal. You got yourself a partner.
Good. Now, I know being a contestant is new to you, Mike, so just take a deep breath and relax. While you're bracing yourself for the question, Archie Presby, our invisible voice, off stage, has a secret message for the listening audience.
Announcer Mike Roy will be asked to discover a 4-letter word, B-A-B-Y, baby. Well, now you know it, and he doesn't. So here we go back to the studio.
Are you a married man, Mike?
Yes, I am.
Then you should appreciate this one. It's a 4-letter word defined as follows. The musical clue is this. And the sound effects cue like this. All right, Mr. Roy, put 1 silver dollar in the jackpot. It may win you 5, and now what is the answer?
The unquintuplets?
Wonder man, you're way ahead of us. They say anything worth doing is worth doing well. Can you reduce that answer to its lowest common denominator and give us just 1 4-letter word? The answer is...
baby.
Right. You made the crossword quiz as clear as crystal. Out on the ball, that boy. And now for arriving at the right solution, Mike Crystal Ball Roy wins 5 hunks of that good green lettuce.
Pardon me, Dave, old boy, but I'd prefer 5 hunks of that good white silver.
Mike, remember, you were a guinea pig. For you, green lettuce.
Beginning round 1 of your crossword quiz. Our studio contestants have been selected from the audience and are here ready to join in the fun. And Dave, our first contender here, is Mrs. Florence Ross.
Mrs. Ross, how do you do?
How do you do, sir?
Where are you from, Mrs. Ross?
Well, I was born in England, but I live here now.
Oh, you do? Well, you still retain a little of the English accent. What's your occupation?
Well, I nursed for 20 years.
You did?
Then during the war, I just lost my husband, and I didn't feel like nursing, so I went into a war plant, and I was a riveter and a drill press operator for 2 years.
Good for you. That's wonderful. What's your favorite indoor sport?
Listening to my radio.
Listening to the radio. That's a good answer. What's your favorite outdoor sport?
Coming to radios.
That's all right. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you 5 silver dollars. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 or 5. And as soon as our listeners have heard from the mystery voice, you will receive your first crossword.
Just between us, the word number 34 horizontal is R-O-L-E, roll. And here we go back to the studio.
Mrs. Ross, your first word is number 34 horizontal, a four-letter word meaning something people play in. The sound effects clue is this. Our sound man really isn't a gambler. It's just an act he's putting on for us. What a character. Your musical clue, Mrs. Ross, is... Okay, drop $1 in the jackpot. There we are. Your musical clue is the barrel roll polka. Roll out the barrel, remember, and for your sound effects clue, Fred What a Character Cole was rolling out the dice. As Shakespeare put it, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. So, number 34 cross, a four-letter word, something people play in, is... You heard the rolling out of the dice. You heard the barrel roll polka.
Crap.
No. You heard the barrel roll polka, remember? Roll out the barrel, roll. Something that people, when they're on the stage, they play in a...
Roll?
That's right, roll. R-O-L-E, roll.
Oh, they play a roll, yeah.
That's right, roll. R-O-L-E, roll.
And now, Dave, here is contestant number 2. This is Miss Mildred Grieg, I believe, or Greg. Greg. Fine.
Miss Gregg, how are you this evening?
All right, thank you.
I would like to know where you're from, of course.
Glendale.
From Glendale, California, all right. And what's your occupation?
Bookkeeper.
A bookkeeper. May I ask you a couple of other questions? What was your first sweetheart's first name? Do you remember?
No, I don't think
You
I'd
don't
like
remember?
to answer that.
Oh, the first name's all I asked for.
John.
John, all right. Do you happen to know where he or she is now? Do you know?
No, I'm not sure.
Would you like to know?
I sure would.
All right. All right, I'm going to give you your $5 silver. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you're in business, and your first crossword is number 32 cross, a 5-letter word, meaning one who likes to wander. For you folks at home...
The answer is rover, R-O-V-E-R.
And now, Miss Gregg from Del Castillo, you hear the musical clue. And from Fred Cole, the clue in sound effects. That'll be $1 silver, please, in the jackpot. You have to pay for your guess. Put $1 in. All right, your musical clue was the whistler and his dog. Your sound effects clue is a barking dog. Number 32 cross is 5 letters, one who likes to wander. I had a dog, and his name was...
Rover.
Rover, that's right.
And now, Dave, here's tonight's third contestant, and his name is Mr. Edward Caridio.
Mr. Caridio, how are you this
How do you
evening?
do?
Very happy to know you, sir. Tell us first where you're from.
I am from Worcester, Massachusetts.
From Worcester, Massachusetts? That's fine. What are you doing now?
Well, at present I'm working as a mail carrier in Beverly
Oh,
Hills.
you are? Wonderful. There's a man that really means a lot to all of us, a man who's carrying mail. All right. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Who's your favorite movie star?
Well, I'd say a man like Pat O'Brien.
Pat O'Brien, all right? Now tell me something else. Everybody in Hollywood, they say, wants to be a movie star, but if you could choose any occupation that you wanted, anyone in the world, what would it be?
Well, I'd like to get into the acting profession.
You'd like to get into the acting profession, but you still wouldn't like to be a movie actor. That's wonderful.
Oh, I thought you said... Oh, did you say what I... Other than that? I was dreaming. I didn't hear what you said. I wasn't paying attention.
All right, you're ready for your crossword. I see what you want. You want your beginner's $5 first, and you shall have them.
For your information, this contestant is going to struggle with the word damages. So let's break it up and get back to the studio.
For your information, my friend, we're going to have a 7-letter word, number 36 horizontal, and it means loss due to injury, plural. To sound effects, it sounds like this. And to Del Castillo and his organ, it sounds like this. All right, $1 in the jackpot. In order to make your guess, drop a dollar, part with one. Come on, that's it. That's right. And now, you first heard something being broken up, damaged, demolished. But good, too, a good job. And then the organ played Sweet Sue. Number 36 across is a 7-letter word, meaning loss due to injury, plural. If someone injures you, your property, perhaps your car, causing you loss, what do? You sue them for damages. That's right, D-A-M-A-G-E-S, damages.
And still another contestant confronts the crossword microphone. And your name, sir? George McCool.
Mr. McCool, how are you this evening?
Fine, thank
Tell
you.
us where you're from, sir.
I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
And your job, your occupation is what?
Sales promotion.
Sales promotion work, all right. Tell me this. I've always wondered this about myself and a lot of other people. Where would you like to be 5 years from tonight, we'll say? Where would you like to be 5 years from tonight?
Well, I'd like to be in good old L.A., but if the Brooklyns win the pennant that year, I'd like to be back there in Brooklyn.
All right. Now, the next question is this. Where do you suppose you will be? Quite a difference, isn't it? Does anybody know?
No one knows.
All right. We'll leave that to imagination. And while I'm crossing your word with, or rather your palm with silver, and incidentally, when you get your $5 silver in the first round, from here on, you're on your own. The voice is going to whisper a few secret somethings into the ears while listening on it.
Hi-yo, Palomino. What a harum-scarum show this turned out to be. It's a horse on you if you haven't already guessed Arabian.
Number 11 down has 7 letters. I hope the combination brings you good luck. The definition, a native of a country in southwestern Asia. The sound effects clue and the musical clue. You pays your money and you takes your choice. Remember, $1 in the jackpot. First you heard the sound of horses' hoofs, hi-yo, Palomino, and then your musical clue was the Sheik of Araby. So number 11 down, a native of a country in southwestern Asia, is
Arabian?
Arabian, that's right. A-R-A-B-I-A-N, Arabian.
Okay, here is our next contestant, Dave. Miss Beverly Allison.
Miss Allison, how do you do?
How do you do?
And where are you from, Miss Allison?
Los Angeles.
From Los Angeles. And what is your occupation?
I'm a comptometer operator.
A comptometer? You push one of those little black boxes and
Yes,
figures
sir.
come out, all kinds of figures?
That's right.
Well, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions, too. What's your favorite song or musical composition?
The Tales from Vienna Woods.
Tales from Vienna Woods, I like that, too. Well, we just want to get acquainted with you. What was the last book that you read? I didn't say when, I said what.
I don't even remember.
Oh, I know how many other people are in that same boat, too. All right, I'm going to give you, you're not listening to me, of course. You're looking at these $5 silver, so I'll give them to you. All right, you'll get your $5 start in the crossword quiz.
No, please, not that. The solution to this one is S-T-R-I-P, strip.
Getting a little warm in here, don't you think?
Certainly is.
Miss Allison, you've been assigned number 12, horizontal. It's a 5-letter word. It means a narrow or relatively long section. With a sound effects clue that sounds like this. And a musical hint that goes this way. All set, remember, it costs $1. Contribution to the jackpot. Put one in, that's right. Now tell me, was there an old swimming hole near your home when you were a kid? Was there an old swimming hole around?
Yes.
There was? Remember the nursery rhyme, Mother, Mother, may I go out to swim? Yes, my darling daughter, hang your clothes in a hickory limb, but don't go near the water. First you heard the tearing of cloth, then you heard the what polka? No help from the audience, please. You heard the what polka?
I don't even remember. I'm so
Just a little of that
scared.
again, quickly, please. You know the words to that song? What are they? What do you think the word is?
Polka?
That's right, strip, S-T-R-I-P, strip. That's... And so ends round 1 of the crossword quiz. Our contestants will be back for round 2 in just a moment, but first here is Mike Roy with a few words for our listeners, explaining our contest rules for the big crossword prizes to be awarded to you folks at home.
Well, as the program progresses, you listeners are receiving free words from our studio contest. Write them down as they are given to you. When the program is ended, solve the remaining portion of your puzzle from the definitions you have. Then your crossword quiz puzzle should be complete. You don't have to be a crossword addict. We've made them so easy anyone can play. And finally, at the bottom of the page, in 25 words or less, complete the sentence, I like to play crossword quiz because. Mail your entry blank to Crossword Quiz, Box 201, Hollywood 28, California. Prizes will be awarded on the basis of aptness of thought and accuracy in solving your puzzle. All entries become the property of Crossword Quiz, and the decision of our judges is final. In case of ties, duplicate prizes will be awarded. And now back to David Gilmour in round 2 of the Crossword Quiz.
And here is Miss Ross back for more. And this is where you came in with one big difference. This time we're giving you $5 silver for the successful solution that you had in round 1. Remember, you guessed your words, you get $5 silver. There they are. So after having paid $1 for the clue, you now have $9. A whole handful. So clear out your pocket and make room for more, you hope, while the voice tells the listeners what's in store.
When you were a youngster, remember, did you ever play ball with a boy named Andy? Are you good at remembering your nursery rhymes? Hi diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped, Yeah, the word is over.
This one is an adverb, number 33 across, or rather 33 vertical down, a 4-letter word, sometimes associated with a boy's name. Translated to sound effects, it sounds like this. All right, the musical clue is like this. All right, now $1 in the jackpot, pay for your guess, put the $1 in, part with one of them, that's right. If your guess is good, we'll raise you 4 and give you 5 more. It's a 4-letter word. Your answer is, well, let's first help you a little bit. First, the cow did moo, and then what did she do?
And she kicked over the bucket, I think.
Well, that's pretty close. She jumped over the rainbow. What do you think the word is?
The rainbow was rainbow.
What do you think the word is? I can't give you another chance. It's a 4-letter word. No help from the audience, please. It's a 4-letter word. You heard the musical selection over the rainbow? I'm sorry. That's all.
The sky.
No, I'm sorry. That's wrong. Now, you'll have another turn in just a moment. Now, Mike Roy, will you usher in the next hopeful? Listen, you listeners, for a moment, however, to the mystery man.
This time, the joke's on you. We're going to let you bite your nails and guess right along with the contestant.
Welcome again to the crossword microphone, Miss Gregg. Looks like you also are loaded with loot. That is, you will be. We'll give you those $5 that you won in the first round for getting your answer correct. Oh, you already got them. Wonderful. Such cooperation. Well, this time we're going to give you number 1, vertical down, a 5-letter word. The definition is terminal horny scale, plural. Now, we'll have it defined musically, I think, first by Del Castillo. All right, now while Fred Cole gives forth for the sound effects. All right, now, Miss Gregg, we're going to ask you to give out first with the $1 in the jackpot, remember? And now, did you recognize the musical selection? Can you tell me what the word is?
Nails.
That's right, correct, nails. She wins another $5. Give her the $5. Miss Gregg gives her $5. Step right up to the crossword quiz microphone, Mr. Caridio. You're still staying with it, I see. You're a glutton for punishment. Now, while you count your money and warm up your wits, you have $5 that you got from winning in the first round?
No, it isn't Stella, fella, and it isn't Bella. A queen of the comics has her name. Yes, my friend, it is the same. Ella.
Right now, number 15 horizontal. It's a 4-letter word, a girl's name. We hunted in the jungle for this sound effects clue. And we return to the 20s for the musical message. All right, $1 gets you 5 if you arrive at the right answer in the jackpot with $1, please. That's right. A girl's name with 4 letters. And what is the solution?
Well, would it be Ella? It's
Ella is right. The elephant trumpeted. You heard Dardanella, and so the answer is Ella.
And now, Mr. McCool, it's your turn to squirm again.
Yes, sir.
Mr. McCool, welcome back to our microphone. You're fixed up with your money from the first round, aren't you? We'll see if we can confuse you a little bit this time. Listen to, well, let's see. Let's give Old Man Mystery another chance to amuse and confuse the contestants at home first, and then we'll give you your crossword.
Los Angeles is a famous seaport. Have you ever been at sea? Can you tie an anchor knot? Can you flip a fast half hitch? Who said knots to you? Oh, let's settle for sails. S-A-I-L-S.
Number 4 horizontal has 5 little letters. Something that helps you make knots. It sounds like this. And with the music, it makes like this. Now, your $1 in the jackpot, it's only a drop in the bucket. And tell us the 5-letter word.
Sails.
Sails, that's right. Something that helps you make knots. How's the jackpot doing, my friend? Mike Roy, tell me, get your hands in there.
Well, at these prices, Dave, you couldn't quite build the house that Jack built, but it looks plenty good to me.
And now you'll have to dig for this one. Confidentially, it's what we're baking here tonight. Boston chose it for its chowder. It's the lowly clam.
You'll have to dig for this one. Confidentially, it's what we're baking here tonight. You've been sitting over there all this time, and you've been so quiet, so silent, Miss Allison. We haven't heard a sound out of you. You've been as still as a mouse. So, ready, here we go. Number 30, vertical. It's a 4-letter word defined as follows. Lives quietly in the ocean. But there is one associated sound which should give you a clue. And the musical clue. Would you mind playing that over again, Del Castillo? Well, all right. There we are, Miss Allison. The silent musical clue. Your buck in the bucket, please. Don't be afraid to donate. The more you put in, the more you may win when we come to the jackpot question. I'm warning you that you will have to dig for this one. Now tell us what you think the word is.
Well, it sounds like sand.
Oh, it's a 4-letter word. Lives quietly in the ocean.
A fish.
That's very close.
A wave.
Now, I'm sorry, that's not right. The answer is clam, C-L-A-M, clam. Silently, quietly. You better luck next time.
End of round 2 of the crossword quiz, and so here we go to round 3. And back to our first contestant, Mrs. Ross. I leave you to the not-too-tender mercy of our crossword quizmaster, David Gilmore.
Oh, I think he's fine.
Thank you. Don't pay any attention to him, Miss Ross. I promise you won't hear one crossword from me, at least not until the $1's in the jackpot. So just relax. The worst is yet to come. Now the voice will lead and mislead the listeners.
This one shouldn't be too difficult. In fact, it might be just the opposite. As a matter of fact, it's easy.
This one shouldn't be too difficult. In fact, it might be... Number 27, horizontal, has 4 letters. He is a well-known comic strip character. Sound effects identify him this way. All right, and the music is like this. All right, you help build up the jackpot. It may all belong to you in a few minutes. This 4-letter word shouldn't be too difficult. Remember I said... In fact, it should be just the opposite. Can you tell me what it is? It's a 4-letter word, famous comic strip character. We're listening, we're waiting for your answer.
No
help from the audience, please. I'm sorry, your time is up.
Small ones and I can't think
I'm
of
sorry,
one.
but I'll tell you about it if you want to listen. First, you heard a washing machine and used a certain kind of a washer. Then Del Castillo played Take It Easy. So, well-known comic strip character number 27 across is a 4-letter word, E-A-S-Y, Captain Easy of Wash Tubs and Easy.
And so ends round 3 of the crossword quiz. But right now, I'd like to take the opportunity of telling the listening audience how to win their prize awards. Yes, sir, you filled in all the free words we gave you here in the studio. Now fill in the empty spaces remaining on your crossword quiz puzzle from the printed definitions you have. And when your puzzle is complete, finish the sentence, I like to play crossword quiz because, in 25 words or less. Send the completed puzzle and slogan to Crossword Quiz, Box 201, Hollywood 28, California, to compete for the many grand prizes being offered you folks at home each week in the Crossword Quiz contest. All entries must be postmarked before midnight next Thursday.
And now for the jackpot question in which all of our studio contestants have a chance to win back the money that they paid out during the crossword quiz and more, too. Run your chubby little fist through the bucket of silver.
Oh, can't we compete, too?
You tempt me, son, you tempt me. I'd like to compete. Okay, contestants, on the mark, get set. Are your pencils ready? Do you all have your pencils? You have just 30 seconds. Listen carefully, please. Listen and don't watch the pencils. You have just 30 seconds during which we will hear from Del Castillo and his organ. And when he stops playing, you stop. When he stops, you stop. The first contestant to answer correctly wins. Here it is. You will receive a scrambled word. It's a very familiar word that we all know well. And just to make it easier, now listen, I'll tip you off that the word has 4 syllables. And it begins with D, A, B, C, D. All right, the letters on the card, which Mike Roy will now give you, and from which you are to form a 4-syllable word, are R-E-C-D-O-Y-M-C-A. The first card that I have here is from George McCool. He was the first one to come up with a solution, and he has on his card R-E-C-D-O-Y-M-C-A, spells democracy. He is the winner of the jackpot. Lots of money, lots of money. This is David Gilmour thanking you for joining in our crossword quiz and hoping that you'll be back again next week for an entirely new show.
Don't forget, be with us again next week, same time, for another fun-filled session of Crossword Quiz with David Gilmour, Del Castillo's music, and yours truly, Michael Roy. So get your entry blanks right away. You'll find them at your favorite retail store and the station to which you're listening. Or just write us, Crossword Quiz, Box 201, Hollywood 28, California, requesting that your free copy be mailed to you. Until next week, good night. This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
Down theme song introduces another session of Are You a Genius? Presented for the American Armed Forces and their allies, and conducted by the master halfwit, the genius who set record lows in every Army classification test, the star of the show, Mel Blanc. That's me, fellas. Who done that? Are you a genius? This is a simple game. All you need is a pencil and paper and a few right answers. I ask a question, then comes music for a half a minute or so. Then I give the correct answer. Each correct answer is worth a certain number of points. I'll give you the value of each question as we go along, and your genius rating is your total score. Everybody understand how to play the game? All root. In this session, we have 6 questions, all total to 100 points. All right, now, kiddies, before we start school, old Professor Blank wants you to go up on the roof and bring my desk down here where it belongs.
I said bring it down, not throw it down. Never mind. Here's a good-sized splinter I can lean on. Meanwhile, you can get ready to lean into the first question. This is worth 10 points. In football, what is meant by the expression triple threat man? For 10 points, what is a triple threat man in football? Well, I'm sure most of you knocked off a touchdown on that first one. If you did, you got 10 points. A triple threat man in football is a player who can kick, run, and pass. So intercept 10 points if you said a triple threat man is a player who can kick, run, and pass. Those of you who thought a triple threat man was a college player who got free board, room, and passed in all his studies get 2 demerits and an empty 3.2 barrel full of ham-like food, which shall be nameless because it's a commercial product. Ah, great stuff. But while we're on the subject of football, I wonder how many of you remember my career on the gridiron.
I do, Mel. Me too, Mel. Yeah, I remember, Mel.
Oh, nobody, huh? Well, then I'll tell you about the last game of my season for good old Colic Tech. We were playing our traditional rival, Paregoric Poly, and I was sitting on the bench huddled in my blanket, praying to get into the fray. Suddenly, the whistle blew. The coach called my name. I threw off my blanket and then...
Did the coach send you in, Uncle Mel?
No, he sent in the blanket. And I'm sending you question 2. It's worth 15 points to you if you can supply the last names of the following popular American artists. First, Charles Dana, and second, James Montgomery. For 15 points, what are the full names of these artists? Charles Dana and James Montgomery. Okay, here are their names, worth 15 points to you if you got them right. Charles Dana Gibson, James Montgomery Flagg. Take 15 points if you knew that the 2 artists' full names were Charles Dana Gibson and James Montgomery Flagg. Art certainly is wonderful. I can remember back in my salad days, my girl Mayonnaise and I, mayonnaise, get that English accent. I liked nothing better than to spend hours in a gallery. Till one day an usher caught us necking and we had to buy load seats. But that's beside the point, isn't it? What point? If anybody finds a point to any of this stuff, wrap it in cotton and send it to me, will you? And by return mail, I'll ignore it. Now for question 3. This thing is so silly. This one's worth 15 of those ever-loving points, so listen carefully. If brass is the alloy of copper and zinc, what is the alloy of copper and tin? For 15 points, if brass is the alloy of copper and zinc, what is the alloy of copper and tin?
Hey! 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 Ooh! Hey!
Ready for the answer? Here it is. The alloy of copper and tin is bronze. Take 15 more points toward that genius score if you knew that the alloy of copper and tin is bronze. That reminds me, my girl gave me a good luck piece made of bronze. It's a beautiful little coin, too. Where did I put it? Oh, here it is, right here in my pocket. Oops, dropped it. Oh, well, she can always knit me another one. She's a wonderful girl with a needle. You know, she worked in a hospital for a while, and in her spare time, she used to take 2 hypodermic needles and crochet fever charts.
All new material.
I think I'm blowing my top. Wait a minute, I think I will. Where's the pop gun? Oh, too far away. Blow your top light. There you are. Better? Okay. And now, here's a question that all of you farm lads should get without being jabbed by a pitchfork. It carries 15 points with it. The question, not the pitchfork. Here it is. From what part of wheat does bran come from? The outside or the inside? For 15 points, where does bran come from? The outside or inside of wheat? Oh, MacDonald had a farm. On this farm, he had a cow. With a quack, quack here and a quack, quack there. Here a quack, there a quack, everywhere a quack, quack. E-I-E-I-O. He had a jalopy, too. And here's the answer. Bran comes from the outer coat of the wheat grain. Take 15 points if you knew that bran comes from the outside of the wheat. Ah, bran is great stuff. You know, I like it for breakfast in the morning. If you put on enough sugar and cream, you can't even taste it. Oh, bother. Come in.
Hello.
Well, Porky Pig, what are you sticking your snout in here for?
Well, I'm going on the air. I've got a sponsor and everything.
Well, who's your sponsor?
The Universal Uncurling Iron Company.
Uncurling iron?
Yeah, they straighten out pigtails.
Oh, I get it. An uncurling iron to uncurl pigtails.
Yeah, their slogan is, from port to pointer in one treatment. We got an orchestra and everything.
Whose orchestra?
The Oscar Ox.
Oscar Ox?
Yeah, the pigs are just crazy about him. You know, he's billed as Swing Your Hawks with Oscar Ox.
And what are you going to do on the program, Porky?
Oh, I'm the announcer, and listen to this commercial. Attention, porkers everywhere. If your tail is too curly, listen. Do you want to get it straightened out? Send $2 in acorns or garbage to the Universal Uncurling Iron Company, 233 Oink Street, Gruntville, Ohio. And a word of warning, once you get your tail straightened out, keep using your iron regularly. Otherwise, it may snap back and scramble your bacon.
Well, that's fine, Porky. And good luck on your new job.
Yes, thanks, Andy. So long.
Now, fellas, Oh, he left, yeah. Well, right here, you lucky GIs, comes the musical question. Joe the bartender plays the piano, and I play, you guessed it, the cigar box fiddle. Uh-oh. I better get one of Porky's uncurling irons for that string. Oh, no, I'll play it the hard way. Here's a question in 3 parts that's good for 30 points altogether, or 10 points for each part you answer correctly. All you have to do is name the type of building in each of the following song titles. Ready? Here's the first one. I'm sure you all knocked off 10 points for that one. The song was Small Hotel, and the type of building referred to was naturally a hotel. So take 10 points if you knew the building in that title was a hotel. And now for number 2. All right, I'll stop. But take it easy. It could be worse, you know. I could be singing. Well, the building in that one was a shack, because the name of the song is A Little Grass Shack in Kealakakuha, Hawaii. So take 10 points if you said the building was a shack. Now, here's the last one in the musical question. Okay, got it? Well, 10 more points are yours if you knew that was shanty in Old Shanty Town. Which proves, if you got it right, that there is a shanty clause. Isn't that awful? Oh, pardon me while I kill myself. This is Mel Protoplasm Blanc coming to you from the astral plane with another 15-point music. This is a kind of tough one, so pay attention. A hedonist, that's Hedonist, a hedonist is a Latin name for hangman, a person who devotes his life to fun and pleasure, or a fortune teller who predicts your future by the shape of your head. Once again, for 15 points, a hedonist is a Latin name for a hangman, a person who devotes his life to fun and pleasure, or a fortune teller who predicts your future by the shape of your head. Life is just a bowl of cherries. If you don't know the answer by now, well, you just don't know the answer by now. 15 points are yours if you knew that a hedonist is a person who devotes his life to fun and pleasure. And if you don't like it, don't knock it. Take 15 points if you said a hedonist is a person who devotes his life to fun and pleasure. While you're adding up your tallies to see how close you came to the top genius score of 100 points, let me remind you once again that if you think of a question that might fit into this 15-minute monstrosity, will you mail it to Are You a Genius, Armed Forces Radio, Los Angeles, USA? You will? Thanks, fellas. And when you write, be sure and let us know if you heard this program by shortwave or over a local station. And thanks again. And now this is Mel Blanc, the old prawn puss, saying so long and slipping you a confidential tip. Don't miss the next episode of Harriet de Peister in Iceland, the thrilling saga of a red-blooded blue blood who turns yellow in the white snow. Are You a Genius is produced by the Armed Forces Radio Service.
Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is food. F-O-O-D.
Really?
You bet your life. The more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers of America present Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood. And here he is, the one, the only...
I thought he went over the hill. Oh, that's me. Well, here I am again with $2,000 for one of our couples.
We invited some high school students to the program tonight, Groucho, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Carol Jonke and Robert Kemp. And here they are. Kids, come on here and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, kids, to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. High school students, Carol Junkie and Robert Camp. Junkie. Well, you don't look very junky. You look pretty... Cutest looking piece of junk I've seen in a long time. What's your hometown, Carol?
I was born in Oakland, California.
In Oakland, eh?
Yes, uh-huh.
Well, you're a very good advertisement for Northern California.
Thank you.
How old are you?
15.
You're very well preserved for your age, Carol. And I say that without equivocation. I went to school, too, you know. Let's test how much you know. What does equivocation mean? Do you know, Robert? Go ahead. Tell me what it means, and don't use your hands. Robert, you've been sleeping in your English class again. And I say that without equivocation. How old are you, my lad?
17.
17, huh? Well, you don't look it. Are you from Oakland, too?
No, I'm from London.
London?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were about 32 years old. You say you were born in London?
Yes.
Oh. What sort of work does your father do? Huh?
He's a chef.
He's a chef?
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't ever lose him. Don't give up the chef. Remember that. Well, it's nice to know what your father does. When somebody asks my little girl what her father does, she covers her face and runs for the cellar. What school do you go to, Bob?
Hollywood High.
And you go to Hollywood High, too?
No, I go to Hamilton High.
You go to Hamilton High, huh? Somebody out there from Bayonne, New Jersey. Hamilton High, isn't that the one they named after Benjamin Franklin, isn't it?
No, after Alexander Hamilton.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. And he was named after Benjamin Franklin. What are you laughing at? You didn't even know what equivocation is. What grade are you in, Carol?
B10.
B10? Well, do you always roll your eyes when you say B10? Huh?
No.
And how much forward progression have you achieved in your academic curriculum?
I'm in the B11.
Say, he understands English. I doubt if anything embarrassing ever happens to a high school boy, but have you ever had any close calls, Bob?
Well, let's see. Once I did, when I was in the theater. I'd gone to the show with my mother, and she'd gone ahead of me, and I walked down the aisle, and I sat down, and I started helping myself to some popcorn. And
whose popcorn was it?
It wasn't my mother's. Some lady beside me, she says, "Have you had enough?"
That's what they said when Truman ran it last night. They also said it about Thomas Jefferson, too. So you're a popcorn thief. Is that what you're...
No.
What is your ambition when you graduate from school, if you ever do?
I'd like to be an actor.
Well, who wouldn't? What makes you think you'd like to be an actor?
Well, it seems like an easy life.
Is that so? Really? Is that a fact, huh?
Yeah, I guess it's high pay. And it's glamorous, and the hours are good, I think. And it's nice to be in front of an audience and, bring them up to a certain pitch. Stuff.
I guess that's what I should have been, an actor. Are you studying to be an actor in some school?
I take drama at Hollywood.
In addition to popcorn, is that? You taking this in high school?
Yes.
What do they teach you in school about acting?
Diction, voice projection, and staging, direction, blocking.
Blocking?
Yeah.
Are you on the football team, too?
No. See, the director gives you the business, and then you block it out.
And then you give the director the business. Do they teach you how to sneak your trunk out of a rooming house?
No, not yet.
Well, that's one of the important qualifications. Now, you mentioned diction. Could you give us an example of how you learn diction?
Well, they give you voice exercises. Let's see, one of them is, I have to laugh when I walk down the path for an hour and a half when I take a bath.
You have to go down the path to take a bath? What's the matter with the shower? Is there another actor in there? By the way, Barrymore, what do you think of my diction? After all, I'd like to think I'm something of an actor. Would you say I have good diction?
Well, yes, but I notice you drop your NGs once in a while.
I guess I'll have to start wearing suspenders and a belt. What about voice projection? Could you give us an example of voice projection?
Well, you take it in with your lungs, the air, and then you...
That's along with the popcorn, huh?
And you breathe from the diaphragm. Like, I have to laugh when I walk down the park.
He may not be the best actor in town, but he's certainly going to be the cleanest. He doesn't need any equipment to be an actor. He needs a cake of soap and a towel. You'll be washed up by the time you're 18. What about you, Carol? Do you engage in any underground activity at school? Like the drama?
No, I'm in the Aeolian choir at school.
You're in the Aeolian choir?
Yes, that's
well,
right.
Get out of it. That thing sounds bad enough already. I hear they've got mice in there. Huh? Now, just what is the Aeolian choir? You just made this up.
Well, it's a musical organization.
That's your story, huh?
No.
What are some of the songs you sing in this?
Oh, we sing such songs as Stout-Hearted Men.
As what?
Stout-Hearted Men.
You're pretty young for that, aren't you?
And rounds.
Rounds?
Yes.
What's a round besides Fenneman?
Well, let's
He's
use...
always around, huh?
Let's use...
He's the only square that's always around. What is a round?
Well, let's
like
take...
you go 10 rounds?
No. Let's use, for
Pretty
example...
cute, Carol.
Let's use, for example, the song Row, Row, Row Your Boat.
Yeah.
The first group will start Row, Row, Row Your Boat.
Don't you need any oars or anything for this?
No, just... And then the second group will come in, Row, Row, Row Your Boat.
I see.
And then the third. And it goes on like that until somebody...
Well, good. Let us do it, huh?
All
I
right.
used to sing, too. How about you, Bob? Can you sing, huh?
A little.
Well, you with your clear diction. Let Carol start off, and then you chime in, and then I'll come in later, huh?
Okay.
Okay.
Row, row, row your boat gently
Row,
down the
row,
stream.
row your boat
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 gently down the stream. My object all sublime, I shall achieve in time. To let the punisher fit the crime, the punisher fit the crime. Well, it's been right educational having you two kids here tonight. When if any sponsor is listening, how's this? Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. DeSoto, 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 DeSoto. Exactly what I mean. I don't get fired for that. Nothing will do it. Now, in just 1 minute, you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $2,000 question. But right now, I want you to pay close attention to this.
It's designed for you and your budget, too. The beautiful new 1952 DeSoto. Count off all the great features of the new DeSoto. Oriflow shock absorbers for the smoothest ride on the road. Waterproof ignition to give you quick starts in even the wettest weather. Chair-high seats for a more relaxing ride and a good view of the road ahead. 12-inch safeguard brakes for safer, surer stopping. An independent handbrake that gives you 3 times the braking power of ordinary hand brakes. Sensational safety rim wheels to protect your family in case of blowout. Yes, friends, here's the car that gives you more for your money. More safety, more performance, more comfort, more driving pleasure than you've ever known. The exciting 1952 DeSoto. See it. Drive it. The 1952 DeSoto. Now at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. And remember, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth, the low-priced car most like high-priced cars.
All right, now let's see how you work together as a team. George, explain the rules, huh?
You bet as much of your $20 as you want on each of 4 questions, and the couple that earns the most money gets a chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $2,000 question later in the show.
Here we go. Let's see how high you can build your $20. You selected popular songs as your category. Here's your first question. How much of the 20 will you bet?
16.
16. Sweet 16, huh? All right. Give me the title of this popular song. Jerry, let it go.
Cold, cold heart.
Cold, cold heart.
That shows you what youth is, cold, cold, hot. I wouldn't have had the faintest idea what that song was. The only song I remember is the Old Oaken Bucket.
And they're on their way with $36.
$36. All right, you're going for $2,000 tonight. That's the big money. How much of the 36 will you bet?
30.
You want to bet 30. Right. This song is an old favorite that has been revived. What is the title of it?
Hey, Daddy, I want a diamond ring.
Daddy, I want a diamond ring.
You kids are really climbing. You have $66.
You wouldn't settle for less, huh, Carol? Here's your third question. How much of the 66 will you bet?
50. Okay. 63.
How much?
Well,
How much?
Really go tonight. 63.
63. Play it, Jerry.
I get ideas.
I get ideas. Adios, muchacha.
Now they have $129.
Here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much will you bet?
Oh.
You got 129 smackers. See if you can identify this one.
120.
120. Okay, Jerry.
Because of you.
Oh, they don't give you a chance. That's it, Bobby.
And you wind up with $249.
$249. Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. They're really cute, those kids, weren't they?
Folks, several weeks ago, Tom and Nadine Snodgrass were contestants on our show. I'm sure many of you remember them. They were the young couple that went broke in the quiz because they didn't know the location of the resort city of Sarasota. Well, since then, there have been some developments, so we invited them back here again tonight. And here they are, Mr. and Mrs. Tom Snodgrass.
Hello, kids, and welcome back. Let's see, Nadine, as I remember, you're expecting, aren't you? When is the date again?
April.
April. Well, how do you feel?
Just fine, thank you.
Good. Well, you look great.
Thank you.
Tom, you know, we never had anyone back again once they've been up here, and I'm curious, what were some of the reactions to your appearance on the show?
We really had a good time. All the friends phoned us up, told us.
Did you have any after you'd appeared on the show?
Oh, yeah.
Well, then you're quite a celebrity now, huh? You and the missus, huh?
I think the nicest thing that happened was that my mother hadn't seen me for 5 years, and she'd never met Tom. She saw us on television and said it was just like seeing us in person.
She's awesome, Chicago.
You see, television has its purposes. The last time you remember, you couldn't tell us in what state Sarasota was located. Is that right?
That's right.
So I'm going to ask you that question again, and you get it right, and we have a little surprise for you, and here it is. And please, no help from the audience.
Florida.
Yeah? Now, I'm going to ask you the question. In what state is Sarasota, Florida?
Florida.
Florida's right, and now for the interesting part. I got a letter here from Todd Swam, manager of the Sarasota Chamber of Commerce, and this is what he wrote. He says, just so you'll always know where we are, the city of Sarasota, Florida, invites you to be our guest for a 1-week, all-expense vacation, including round-trip air transportation. You'll visit the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus winter quarters and the Sarasota Jungle Gardens. And during your stay, you'll have at your disposal a personal automobile, DeSoto, of course, compliments of the local DeSoto Plymouth dealer. Well, have a good time down there.
Okay, we will.
And if the first one's a boy, name him Groucho. Imagine going through life as Groucho Snodgrass. Congratulations, kids, from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice time. Just a minute, George. Before we go on, I have a note here that I have to read. This is just to remind me to thank the radio and television editors of the United States. It seems they voted our show the best of its kind for 1951 in the poll conducted by Radio and Television Daily.
We looked through our audience tonight, Groucho,
You
for...
did?
Yes, for...
Well, that's a very interesting item.
While we were
Did
looking...
you get any wallets?
No, I'll tell you, we
Used to be a sneak thief, I forgot to tell you.
We did find some married couples with
You did, huh?
very unusual stories. So we'd like to bring the one in we selected. They're Mr. and Mrs. Lewis Martine Lally. And here they are. Come on in, folks, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealer. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Mr. and Mrs. Louise Martine Lally, huh?
Louis.
Louis. I'll just call you Louis, huh? And Mrs. Martine Lally, huh? What shall I call you?
Bernice.
Bernice?
Bernice, uh-huh.
What is this Martine Lally? Why isn't it Martin?
Well, it is Martin, except it has an E added to make it Martine.
Why don't you add an olive and make it Martini?
I hadn't thought of it.
Where are you from, Lou?
Well, I was born in Vancouver, Washington.
How old are you?
44, sir.
And you, Bernice?
We're the same age.
And where's your hometown, Bernice?
London, Kentucky.
London is in Kentucky now? Those English, they're exporting everything. I remember when London was in the tight little isle. Huh? Where's London, Kentucky?
Oh, it's
probably in Virginia.
It's in southeastern Kentucky, sir. It's
in Kentucky?
Oh, yes.
Well, that's surprising.
It's about halfway between the bluegrass and the mountains.
How did you two meet?
Well,
he chasing you through the bluegrass?
Well, we were both in the Army.
You were in the Army?
Yes, I was a captain, and he was a private. And being an attorney, I was assigned to the Judge Advocate General's Department.
You were an attorney?
Yes,
a
sir.
A hillbilly lawyer? Huh?
Yes, sir. I was a legal assistance officer, and he came in my office for legal advice. I thought I'd solved his problem, but he kept coming back.
You finally solved your problem.
2 or 3 times a week for about 5 months. And so finally he asked me for a date, and I accepted. And then the first night he proposed.
Why did it take you 5 months to get up enough nerve to ask her for a date, Louis?
Well, she was a captain, and I was only a yard bird. And besides that, she was engaged to a colonel.
Apparently you had more brass than the colonel. What sort of work do you do, Louis?
Well, before the war, I was an electrical engineer, and then when I married a lawyer, I went to law school after getting out of the Army so I could get a law degree and win some of the arguments. And then I was a manager of some of the governorship and the senatorial campaigns for the Democrats up in the state of Oregon.
Well, what are you doing now, Louis?
Well, my wife and I are on a world tour, sir.
Really? In times like this? Isn't that pretty risky? How are you traveling? Is Brinks taking you around in an armored car?
Well, no, we're on our own little sailboat, the Magic Carpet, and it's a 25.5-foot two-masted sailboat, 8-foot beam. It draws 4 feet.
How long do you expect this trip to take, Louis?
Well, at least 5 years, sir. We're going to stop in each country as we go. And
5 years? How are you going to get along without television for 5 years?
Oh, it's easy to get along without television.
Speak for yourself, old boy.
Pardon me.
I'll take the food right out of my mouth. Huh? How are you financing this trip?
Well, we're working in each port as we go along, and we're...
You sing, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream.
We've done all sorts of jobs down the coast as we came the first 1,500 miles of our trip. I've clerked in a grocery store and set up pins in a bowling alley, and the two of us have done legal research work for attorneys. And
well, how do you do this while you're in the middle of the ocean? I don't understand this.
Well, that's when we're in port. We work in each port to raise money. I'm an electronics technician over at the Long Beach Navy Yard at present.
Oh. Well, that sounds very interesting. Tell us some more about your trip. What's your itinerary like?
Well, you tell them.
May I tell them?
Sure.
I want to talk a little bit.
Okay.
Our next hop will be about 4,000 miles down to the South Pacific.
Oh.
And then we're going to Tahiti and Samoa and Thailand. And then we intend to visit the religious centers, Mecca, and Jerusalem, and Rome, and up the north coast.
We'll go into Delhi, India, and we had thought of going to Tibet, but that seems to be pretty well out, too.
Well, you'll go to bed at night, won't you?
Our boat is called the Magic Carpet.
Oh, the Magic Carpet,
So we can go any place.
Well, you're risking a great deal on this trip. Just why are you taking it?
Well,
Just a wanderlust? Some scientific expedition? Or?
No, we're not trying to prove anything of that sort. It's just the realization of a lifelong hope to take such a trip, like thousands of others. We
escape from reality, I
suppose. We finally found out we would never have money enough to make the trip and would never be ready, so we just cast off, and we're trying to prove, I guess, that we can make it on a shoestring.
Well, use the boat, too. Well, you're a couple of free souls, and you deserve great admiration for what you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm sure we all wish you the best of luck, and maybe when you come back, you can come and see us again and tell us about your trip.
Yes, we will.
It's people like you who made Columbus what he is today. Really. Third largest city in Ohio. Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $2,000. And if you win, that'll be a big help in your trip. Now, you just run your $20 no more than our other couples. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
The high school students won $249, and the secret word is still food.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected papers and documents. Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
About $16.
$16, all right. What do you call the card that employers punch indicating their arrival and departure from work?
Time card.
Time card is right.
On their way, they have $36.
All right, you're going for $2,000 tonight. How much of the $36 will you bet on your second question?
36.
36. You don't ask the CO at all anymore, huh? You're at sea now, and you're the boss. Huh?
Completely at sea.
Yeah, that's rather good, Louis. Huh? What do you call the paper that indicates the stock quotations?
Ticker tape.
Ticker tape is right.
You now have $72.
Here's your third question. How much will you bet?
73. I mean, 72.
73, and you can owe me $1. What do you call the written direction for the preparation of medicine?
Prescription.
Prescription is right.
You now have $144.
And here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much of the 144 you bet?
It's all yours, sir.
No, it's all yours. 144?
Right.
Yes, sir.
What do you call the paper that is a written acknowledgement that you have received something?
A receipt.
A receipt is right.
And you'll wind up with $288, and that means that you people get the chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $2,000 question in just 1 minute.
Thank you, sir.
Here's a figure every car owner ought to write down and remember. 85%. Because 85% of all car repairs are caused by either faulty lubrication or no lubrication at all. That's how important it is to have your car lubricated regularly at a place where they work according to factory standards. And I mean your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. You'll find there's a vast difference between ordinary grease jobs and the thorough lubrication your DeSoto Plymouth dealer gives your car. And you'll be glad to know, too, DeSoto Plymouth dealer mechanics are qualified to handle any and every type of service. They're not only well-trained, they have the experience and skill, plus the most modern tools and equipment, and the right factory-approved parts. So, for a first-class lubrication job, or any kind of repair, take your car where you see the famous sign of better service, the friendly sign of a DeSoto Plymouth dealer. And now here are the Martine Lollies, the winning couple, all set for the DeSoto Plymouth $2,000 question, Groucho.
Well, here's your chance for a free trip around the world. Here we go for $2,000. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you. Think carefully, and please no help in the audience. Here it is. One of the most important tasks in geographic exploration was completed in 1905 when a famous Norwegian explorer sailed a small ship from the Atlantic to the Pacific through the Northwest Passage. This is like a one-act play. The first man to do it for $2,000, what was this great explorer's name? Who was the first man to do it?
Sailed a boat?
Sailed a small ship from the Atlantic to the Pacific through the Northwest Passage. He was the first man to do it. If you don't know, take a stab at it. What was this great explorer's name?
I don't know, I'm sorry.
Well, say something. Some explorer.
Well, I can say Amazon.
Amundsen is right. Raoul Amundsen is right. You win $2,000. Plus, how much did they win in the quiz, George?
Well, they won $288 in the quiz.
Well, you win $2,288. Now you don't have to make that trip around the world.
Now we can make it.
Well, it couldn't happen to a nicer couple. Congratulations from the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers. From coast to coast, you bet your life.
Thank you very much, sir.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at the same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $1,000. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also presented by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth. 2 great cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, see the 1952 DeSoto.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. Caution, control, and courtesy are the ingredients that add up to traffic safety. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell, directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith, music by Jerry Fielding. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast.
Famous Fun with Words game, Noah Webster Says. On the stage are several contestants who've volunteered from the audience. And here he is, his pockets crammed with $50 bills and a good word for everybody, your genial, jovial word master of ceremonies, Haven McQuarrie.
Thank you. And welcome to Noah Webster Says, to our game of defining words we all should know. And now for Noah Webster Says. At his desk, the chairman of the Department of Speech at Occidental College, who will judge this word contest, Dr. Charles Frederick Lindsley.
Thank you, Haven, and good evening, friends. The direct quotations to be heard on tonight's program are from Webster's New International Dictionary, second edition, copyright 1934 and 39, by the publishers G&C Merriam Company.
And lest we forget to tell you now, Noah Webster Says will come to you 1 hour later next week. And here comes tonight's first guest. How do you do, sir?
How do you do?
Well, move right in, be confidential. Don't throw it, sort of. You have a pleasant smile on your face. And, your name?
Roy Shinneman.
Roy Shinneman.
Shinneman, yeah.
And where from?
New York State and Oregon.
Oh.
From California lately.
I see. And you know anyone in Chicago?
I do not.
You were born in New York State?
Yes, sir.
I was wondering what was holding you up. And Oregon?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I got web-footed there. I was commissioned to get web-footed, so I came down here.
Why, is it wet up there?
Slightly moist.
Never say it is wet in the Northwest. That is the evergreen playground.
Wonderful.
And if we could only have the weather they enjoy in the Northwest here in Hollywood, how about it, folks? Now remember, this is all up for. What do you do, sir?
A specialty salesman, a freelance salesman.
You sell freelancers? What do you sell? I'm only kidding.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just trying to make you warm up.
Specialties of various kinds. Advertising and merchant and advertising specialties and business specialties. collection specialties.
I see. Well, now remember, this is all in fun,
Yeah,
huh?
sure.
And even if you lose, you'll have added another word to your vocabulary. This list you've chosen wins a check for $5 for Mrs. Bertha T. Minter of Hollywood, California, calling for you to define 5 words, all of which might be applied to 5 families who live in 5 different apartments in a Hollywood apartment house. The picture clear? And now for your first family for $1. There is an amicable elderly couple in apartment number 1. The word is A-M-I-C-A-B-L-E. Now, what is your definition for amicable?
Being able to get along together peaceably. Friendly.
Lovely. Lovely. Professor.
Webster says, friendly. As Prideaux said, that which was most remarkable in this contest was the amicable manner in which it was arranged.
You know, most people, when they come to the microphone, they feel that they're going to get a difficult word. These words graduate. Huh? Was that a happy thought?
I presume so.
Huh? You're still with me. More voice now. More voice.
Yeah, surely.
Can you hear him in Seattle? More voice. Go ahead.
What do you want me to say?
Throw a kiss to Seattle.
Hello, Seattle.
All right, fine. Give that go. Now, for $2 more, there is an egotistical bachelor in apartment 2, so what is your definition for the adjective egotistical? E-G-O-T-I-S-I-C-A-L.
Very self-centered and thinking only of himself.
That's good, huh? You like those kind of people?
No, I do not.
Uh-huh. How do you know about them?
Because I've run across many of them.
Haven't we all? You won't give, will you? Well, as my wife says to me, stick with them till they give, so I'm going to stick right with you till you give.
Professor says egotistical, addicted to or manifesting egotism, meaning the frequent use of the word I in speaking or writing. Hence, the practice of speaking or writing over much of oneself, as Hazlitt said, is excessive egotism, which filled all objects with himself.
Didn't he read that beautifully?
Yeah. Very
nice fellow he had.
Very comprehensive.
Now, for $3 more, a cynical grass widow lives in apartment number 3. So what is your definition for the adjective cynical?
Supercilious, critical, and...
You know any grass widows?
Yes, I told you that before.
When did you tell me that? I'd like to have you clear that for the listening audience. We don't rehearse these shows.
In selecting the
That's
contestants.
right. We try to select our contestants out in the audience by asking them various questions to see whether or not they can answer a word that's comparable to the word that will be propounded to them when they arrive at the microphone, right?
Yes, that's right.
Was that a marvelous ad lib? You think I can do that? Well, anywho, what do you know about grass widows?
Well, you want to know about one in particular?
Yes. Can we dust her off on the air all right?
Well, this particular one wouldn't try anything new until someone else had tried it before. So the world never would progress if all of us were like that.
Well, now, what is a grass widow's viewpoint, particularly the first year?
First year of what?
The first year of being a grass widow.
Oh. Well, I presume she's looking for someone else.
The first year?
Well, maybe she's happy to be free for a while.
Well, she's cynical. Now, what is her viewpoint? She's cynical. What is her viewpoint, then? Toward men.
Well, she doesn't trust them. She's suspicious.
You found that out, huh?
Yeah.
Professor Webster says cynical, given to contemptuous belief in men's sincerity of motives or rectitude of conduct.
Close enough. You're in on that grass widow. You've won $6. Now, for $4 more, up in apartment 4, there lives a finical lady. Your word to define is the adjective finical. F-I-N-I-C-A-L. So how would you define finical?
I presume it's the same as finicky, which means kind of queer and erratic, eccentric. And,
This gal's an old maid. Would that help?
Well, they're more inclined to be finicky, I should judge.
Finicky in what way? The word finicky is so synonymous with pinnacle that I'd like to have you give another synonym.
Well, as I said,
Well, what are the characteristics of old maids, in your estimation?
well, captious and,
You know, you're sitting at this
fault-finding.
You're sitting at this microphone with a mental attitude that you're on a fence with a spike in the country and there's a bull approaching. Now, I'm your friend. Move in here and talk about an old maid. Go ahead.
Well, finical.
Finical.
Finical is,
You're saying finical, aren't you?
yes, finical.
That's what I was... Pardon?
Finical.
Finical, yes?
Strange, queer, erratic in judgment, all the time hopping from one viewpoint to another. An unpredictable interaction.
That doesn't define finical. You've been looking at the wrong old maid. Let's go back to the grass widow. Now we'll come back to finical again. A finical old maid would have a home or an apartment. How would she keep it as a rule?
Very prim about it. Very.
Now you're getting warm. Go ahead now. Now you're warming up to the
prim
old maid.
and wouldn't want it disturbed, like the old-fashioned parlor, I presume.
You presume. Don't presume further you're in. Professor.
Oh, it says finical means squeamish, nice, dainty, delicate, meticulous, finicky, mincing, over-scrupulous.
Fine, you've won $10. And we've laid a dozen eggs while you won it. Now, for $10 more or $50, would you like to take the 10 and sit down, or would you like to try for a $50 bill?
Oh, go all the way.
All right. This is a word that I can't help you with. You've taken too much time already. Now, for a $50 bill, you might apply the adjective inimical to the landlord. So what is your definition for inimical? I-N-I-M-I-C-A-L.
Unfriendly.
You're right.
Trying to be
Webster says inimical, unfriendly, unfavorable.
That's marvelous. That's marvelous. There's your $50 bill, sir. You came to right at the right time. Good for you. Thanks for coming and come again.
Yeah, thank you.
And smile the next time, too, won't
Yeah.
you?
Right. Thank you.
Fine. Here's our next guest. How do you do?
How do you do?
And your name?
Louise Lorimer.
And where from?
I'm from Hollywood, formerly from New York.
And now you're from Hollywood?
Yes.
Which way are you going?
Oh, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay right here, I hope.
Oh, then you're from New York and you're now in Hollywood?
That's right.
Am I becoming pedantic tonight? And your occupation?
I do dramatic roles on radio.
Oh. Well, we're highly honored to have you here. What program do you appear on?
Well, last night I had a featured role on the Dr. Christian program with Jean Hersholt and Rosemary DeCamp.
Uh-huh.
And I've been on the Lux show several times. And in New York, I was on Amanda of Honeymoon Hill, and Young Widow Brown, Front Page Barrel.
Well, welcome to Noah Webster Center.
Thank you.
This list you've chosen wins a $5 check to Fanny Shoeline of Los Angeles, California, calling for you to find 5 words, all of which were taken from the Philip K. Shore review of the Universal International production Black Narcissus. Mr. Shore states, quote, "This picture unfolds a series of technicolor tapestries as rich, detailed, and beautiful as any I have ever seen." Now, for your first word for $1, it seems almost incredible they shot it in London and not in a palace high on a windswept crag in the Himalayas. But they did. Your word to define is crag, C-R-A-G. What is your definition for crag?
A crag is a rocky precipice or cliff.
Did you see this picture?
Yes.
And how would you apply crag to the picture?
Oh, there is a crag, a very steep crag, and the wall of the palace is right in line with the edge of the cliff. It's a very dramatic shot.
You liked it, huh?
Yes.
Crag, in this sense, Webster says, is a steep, rugged rock. That's correct.
Fine. Now we'll draft from the crag for $2. Mr. Shore says Black Narcissus is a cumulative drama. Your word to define is the adjective Cumulative spelled C-U-M-U-L-A-T-I-V-E. So what is your definition for cumulative?
Well, it is related to the word accumulate, which means collect. And cumulative means gathering, being added to. The dramatic intensity was cumulative.
I'm very happy that you're from show business and you saw the picture and that you've given such a fine definition. Professor.
So if it says cumulative or cumulative, formed or becoming larger by gathering or successive additions. Correct.
Now, for $3 more, the next quote in this review states, I found it a cinematic jewel in an exotic bloom among the potted plants of Hollywood. Your word to define is the adjective exotic, spelled E-X-O-T-I-C. Now, here is a word that many people fail to define correctly. So, what is your definition for exotic?
Well, Mr. McQuarrie, I don't think I shall ever forget that word, because I think you used it on this program several years ago.
Yeah, I've used it 3 or 4 times.
And as I remember, you said, which is exotic, Dorothy Lamour or an elephant?
You're right. And what was the answer?
Well, Dorothy Lamour couldn't be exotic. She can be glamorous in an exotic role. But it's the elephant that's exotic, because exotic means foreign.
Professor. The lady gave a very excellent answer to that question.
And you... Okay.
I accept it.
Now, for $4 more, your next quote. Yet I cannot recommend it to everyone with impunity. However, the principal Catholic objection has been removed, I think, by the insertion of a revised introductory title. Deborah Carr, who plays the Sister Superior, and Kathleen Bryan, who plays the fallen away nun, belong to a Protestant order of what? Of nuns.
Anglican nuns.
Oh, yes. My paper's blurred here. Your word to define is the noun impunity, spelled I-M-P-U-N-I-T-Y. Impunity.
Well, with impunity means without blame. Every picture can't, or every radio program can't appeal to everyone, and some have a wider appeal than others. And I suppose he felt that if he advised or said that everyone would respond to this picture, he couldn't say that without blame. He couldn't say it with impunity because everyone might not react to it. A lot of people will. I did.
Is this girl great, Professor?
The whole Webster says impunity, exemption or freedom from punishment, harm, or loss. Very good.
All right. You've won $10. Now, would you like to take the 10 and retire, or would you like to try for a $50 bill?
Oh, I'd like to try for 50.
All right. Its theme is unusual, even esoteric. Your word to define is the adjective esoteric. E-S-O-T-E-R-I-C. Esoteric.
Well, esoteric has to do with, the reactions, for instance, of a particular group. For instance, teenagers have their own slang and their own fads and so forth. And, any other group. The Navy, for instance, there are certain reactions, certain experiences, a certain point of view that belongs to the Navy, and the same is true of the Army or the clergy, any particular group.
How would you apply it to the picture?
These were a group of Anglican nuns, and you'd say it would be a confidential understanding within certain groups.
Professor.
All reference as esoteric, withheld from open avowal, confined to a select group, private, confidential. Very good.
Little memoir from this visit, nice picture of Grant with 50 in the corner.
Thank you, Mr. McQuarrie.
And come again.
Thank you.
Here's our next contestant, and how do you do, sir?
How do you do?
And your name?
P.F.C. Roberts, Lawrence H.
And what did you do before you joined the Army?
Well, I went to school mostly, and I worked in a radio shop part-time.
Oh, is that so? You're in the radio business too, huh?
Yes, I repair them mostly.
Is that so? Well, welcome to our game of fun with words. This list you've selected wins a $5 check from Mrs. Robert Kress of Berkeley, California, calling for you to define 5 words every young man should know. For example, If you should give your girl the following, what would she receive? And now for $1, the boy gave his girl sweetmeats.
Well,
what did he give her?
Candy,
You're not. Professor.
Any food rich in sugar is cake, candy, or sweet pastry.
Fine. Now for $3 more, $2 more, your next term to define is oscillatory salute. Spelled O-S-C-U-L-A-T-O-R-Y, salute. So what is an oscillatory salute?
A kiss?
Professor.
Exactly right. A kiss.
Now, for $3 more, the lad presents his girl with a nosegay. N-O-S-E, gay, nosegay. So what is a nosegay?
Would you please repeat that?
Yes, a nosegay. N-O-S-E-G-A-Y, nosegay. What is a nosegay?
I'm not sure, but from the way it sounds, it might be a handkerchief or...
You're very warm. You're on the organ. Now, what would a boy give a girl if the girl didn't care for candy?
Maybe some kind of wearing apparel?
And for one help.
Bunch of flowers.
You're right, Professor.
Nosegay is a bunch of flowers, a posy.
Now, for $4 more, the girl's next gift, or the boy's next present, is an auto. Spelled O-T-T-O. So what is your definition for an auto?
A-T-T-O, did you say?
O-T-T-O.
O-T-T-O?
You know the word at her?
No, I don't believe I do.
I don't mean he was mad at her. Do you use hair tonic?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Well, to get, like I said to you before when you were picnic.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes, there are no secrets. Go ahead, yes. When you were sitting out in the audience, I was trying to find a boy that knew something about auto. Yeah? Go ahead.
I told you it was used to groom your hair.
Uh-huh. Did you ever hear... Why do you use it? To groom your hair?
To keep it... Yes, I do, sir.
I see. For any other purpose?
To smell nice.
To smell nice. Uh-huh. Now, did you ever hear of a girl using hair tonic?
No, I haven't, but I've heard of them using perfume.
So Webster says auto and atter, meaning a perfume obtained from flowers.
You hit it right on the button. That's marvelous. Now you've won $10. Now, would you like to take the 10 or try for a 50?
I'd like to try for the 50.
All right, fine. Now, pay attention. Now, for a $50 bill, when a boy gives his girl his autonym, what does he give her? Autonym is spelled A-U-T-O-N-Y-M. What is an autonym? Did you ever give your girl an autonym?
I am not sure about that.
Is that so? That's a very serious thing. What is your girl's name?
Yeah, the one I'm particularly interested in is her name's Eva.
Eva what?
Eva Lamas, L-A-M-A-S.
And what will it be after she marries?
Robert.
And whose name is that?
That's my name.
Professor.
No, it's that autonym is literally one's own name.
Here is your $50 bill. Thanks for coming. Come again, and God bless you.
Thank you very kindly, sir.
Nice guess. How do you do?
How do you do?
Your name?
Ruth Wilcox.
Now, this list you've chosen wins a $5 check from Mrs. G.P. Myers of Stockton, California, calling for you to define 5 words, all of which represent a variety of courtesy. Now, for $1, your first word to define is curtsy. C-U-R-T-S-Y. What is your definition for curtsy?
A curtsy is a gesture made by a young girl, usually, in which she places one foot behind the other and bends her knees
Lovely.
brief dip.
Professor? Slight dropping of the body with bending of the knees. Correct.
Now, for $2 more, your next word to define is the noun salam, spelled S-A-L-A-A-M or S-A-L-A-M. So what is a salam?
A salam is a salute used by people in the Near East, whereby they raise their fingers to the breast, lips, and brow in a token of greeting.
One or two hands?
One.
Uh-huh. And what do they do with the body?
They bend slightly forward.
That's bad for body squeaks, huh? Now, for $3 more, you were to pronounce or define the next word. K-O-W-T-O-W. Pronounce it?
Kowtow.
That's what most people think. No, it's kotao. Now, how would you define it? What does it mean?
I believe it's Japanese in derivation, and it is a salute to the emperor, to a high official. I believe they place the forehead on the floor.
That's enough, Professor.
So kneel and knock the forehead on the ground is close enough.
Right. Now, for $4 more, your next word to define is the verb genuflect. What does that mean?
Genuflect is to bend the knee deeply, as when entering a pew in a Roman Catholic church.
Professor.
Genuflect to bend the knee, as in worship. Right.
Fine. Now, for $50 bill, your last knee action word is pronounced congé or the anglicized conge, spelled C-O-N-G-E. You know that word? What was your last word?
Genuflect.
What was your first word?
Curtsy.
Professor.
Or it says conge or conge in this sense, a bow or curtsy.
Thank you, George.
Here is your $50. Thanks for coming, and now please stand by for the final exams. And here are the final exams. The word tonight they are writing the definition for is panacea. The first paper says a cure-all. The second paper says a cure-all. The third paper says I'm not sure. The fourth paper, a cure alleged to cure all. Never heard of it. The sixth paper, nothing. The seventh paper, an ancient architectural device. The eighth paper, nothing. And now we'll hear what Noah Webster says for the noun panacea, Professor.
Noah Webster says panacea, a remedy for all diseases, a universal medicine or remedy, a cure-all, a Catholican.
Which means there are two winners tonight, and they will receive the money in addition to the money they have already won. Congratulations. Thanks to the contestants who appeared here tonight, and to you folks who sent in word lists, and also to Professor Charles Frederick Lindsley, who is the final authority in judging this contest.
Noah Webster Says has come to you through the worldwide facilities of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.
Panel of What's My Line? First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in papers coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And on my left, that brilliant actor who is giving a marvelous performance in the Broadway hit Big Fish, Little Fish, Martin Gable.
On my left, a girl who makes me proud to be known all over the country as Arlene Francis's husband, Arlene Francis.
Is that the truth?
Yeah.
And now the distinguished publisher of Random House, who is our distinguished panelist, Mr. Bennett Cerf.
And now I'd like to introduce a man who I think has read more books than almost anybody on television and understands a lot of them, too. John Charles Davis.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. Once again, some very nice folks who brought some very interesting occupations to the theater, and the panel with a welcome return of Martin Gable to puzzle with these occupations, and we hope we give them a lot of puzzlement tonight. We'll also have a famous mystery guest before the panel a little bit later in the program. And now let's meet our first challenger. Would you enter and sign in, please? John?
John Davis.
Haley, right? Scared the daylights out of Bennett, but he thought there were two of me for a bit. Where are you from, Mr. Haley?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's nice to have you with us. May I present our panel? And you have some friends from hometown here tonight, so you feel very comfortable in all this friendly atmosphere. Do you know how we keep score?
Yes, sir.
All right, then let's let the audience in the theater and those watching at home know exactly what your line is.
Mr. Haley is a circus strongman.
Tell you that Mr. Haley is salaried and he deals in a service, and let's begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Mr. Haley, do you work for a profit-making organization?
Yes, I do.
Is the kind of service I might ever use? I've seen you and I wish I would.
Well, I would say that I think that it's a service in which you might use, using the verb used there in a very general sense. In other words, you might wish to have its benefits, and if you took the necessary action, why, you could have the benefits of the service.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything artistic about your work?
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Haley, do you have a product involved in the service that you perform?
No, I don't.
Well, now, let me have a small conference.
Sorry.
If you mean here, is it necessary for him on all occasions?
No, when he performs a service, does he require the use of some kind of an article?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Do you perform your service both indoors and outdoors?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Mr. Haley, do you perform your services chiefly indoors?
Yes.
Could I watch you perform them?
Yes, you could.
Do you wear anything other than a business suit when you perform them?
Yes.
Are you in the realm of either entertainment or athletics?
Yes.
Is it athletics?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Gable.
Are you then an entertainer?
Yes.
Is it a form of entertainment that is normally considered part of the show business?
Yes.
Is it something that you have to have training for?
Yes.
Do you speak when you perform your service?
More confident.
Sometimes.
But you mean in the way of introducing your performance, so it's not in the core of the thing.
Yeah.
That it's generally a silent performance.
Yes.
Is it also, you look in shape, with something I'm very aware of since I'm not in shape. Is there some athletic aspect to your performing?
Yes.
Is it something you do with a team rather than alone? With a group, that is.
No.
No. 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
I'm terribly confused because when we started, I asked if there was anything artistic attached to what Mr. Haley does.
That's right.
The answer was no, and
That's
yet he is with the entertainment world in some category, but it isn't artistic.
That's right. Right so far, all
mapped out perfectly.
Clear as it can be.
Cuckoo. Do people pay money to see what you do?
Yes.
Are you on the ground doing what you do?
Yes.
Are you standing up?
Yes.
Do you do any kind of activity with your arms and legs when you are working?
Sometimes.
You mean you could be perfectly still?
Call conference. If the question here seeks to find out whether it's possible for our guest to perform his service without being ambulatory, the answer would be yes.
Jolly good. But shall I rule out anything in the sports world that has to do with baseball or tennis or any sport? I may rule that out entirely.
Mr. Haley ruled it out.
Mr. Haley ruled it out. Oh, would one find anyone doing what you do or anything akin to what you do at a place, for example, like the circus?
Yes.
You are part of the circus?
Yes.
Why do you say sure?
Oh, it was obvious.
He got a no on the first question.
By this time, it was obvious.
All right, now, may I presume you are not shot out of a cannon?
Yes.
Are you in an activity within the circus tent itself?
Yes.
Are you a performer in the circus, in the activities of the circus?
Yes.
Do you have anything to do with animals in the circus?
No.
5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Sir.
Mr. Haley, if I understood you correctly, you do this activity alone and not as part of a troupe. Is that not so?
That's right.
Do you wear the uniform of an acrobat of some sort when you're doing this activity?
No.
Very abbreviated costume?
Well, I think we would agree that the uniform could be generally described as being somewhat similar to that of an acrobat.
That's what I meant. Yeah. Do you do anything that requires juggling or balancing in the performance that you give?
No.
6 down and 4 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
It's very simple, Bennett, wasn't it?
I knew he was in the circus, but that's not...
Mr. Haley, I hate to do all this reviewing, but you did say that you perform your service on the ground, and you can do it standing still.
Yes.
Some of it, yes.
Sometimes. Is that correct?
Some of it.
But you use implements in what you do.
Sometimes.
May I rule out that you're a clown?
Yes, you may.
Do you do something more difficult than being a clown?
Slightly.
A clown might disagree with Mr. Haley, but...
And is it true that you never get off the ground?
That's right.
And you don't deal with animals? I know what he is. My goodness, you do? He's Haley's Comet. Well, obviously, I haven't seen the circus yet. Do you balance anything?
No.
7 down and 3 to go. I'll give you 30 seconds. You should have this by now.
I know. Oh, yes. Yes, we knew what you know, John. Do we have a conference?
Could he be a ringmaster? Or a blocker? No, ringmaster would have to do with animals.
He has to do some
But he could be a blocker.
He has an athletic thing. It's not very athletic
He's not a
to talk.
juggler. He's not a
I know.
trapeze artist. He's not a...
I'm going to flip all the cards. Martin, I've been
man.
expecting you. You've dealt so heavily on the athletic qualities which he displays. He's a strong man.
a strong man balance bars or something like that?
No, that's not balance.
How does he demonstrate
his them with his arms? He tears books and he lifts weights.
Tears books?
Tears books.
As long as he doesn't burn them.
Puzzles the panelists. Nice to have you with us, and much success with the picture. Actually, Mr. Haley is with the Ringling Brothers Circus right here in New York now, at Madison Square Garden. It's his second year with them. Well, let's see what you can do with the second challenger.
Strong man I ever saw.
Yeah, well, let's get our mind on our work again now, please, Arlene. Well, our second challenger, enter and sign in, please. Harry B. Latino. Is that right?
Here, where are you from? I'm from Signal Hill, near East St. Louis in Illinois.
Signal Hill, near East St. Louis in Illinois. Yes. May I present our panel, Mr. Latino? Will you join me over here now? You know how we keep score?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, if you know how we keep score, we'll let the audience at home and the audience in the theater learn exactly what your line is, Mr. Latino.
Mr. Latino designs baseball gloves.
All right, panel, we can tell you that Mr. Latino is salaried and deals in a product, and let's begin the general questioning with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Mr. Latino, is your product something that might be found in the home?
Sometimes.
Could be found other places, too?
Yes, ma'am.
Could I hold it in my hand?
You may.
Is it solid rather than liquid?
It's solid.
Is it consumed?
No, ma'am.
1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Gable.
Is it sold in East St. Louis? Do you sell it there?
Yes, sir.
Is it something that I might wear?
In a manner of speaking.
Is it something that will be more suitable for men than women?
Yes. I would say more suitable, but this does not rule out the possibility that the woman might use it.
Fine. Since your general tone leads me to believe that it's functional rather than decorative.
It is.
Is it worn above the waist?
Either above or below.
My toupee's gone. Is it worn under the outer clothing?
No, sir.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Francis.
If one wore it, one would see it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it something that one would wear when one is out in the street?
Not necessarily.
No, I think we have to give you a no for that. 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Sir.
Then is this something, Mr. Latino, that might be worn in the bedroom?
No, sir.
4 down and 6 to go.
Not in the street, not in the bedroom.
Mr. Latino, I hate to dismiss Mr. Cerf's romantic notions, but would it be worn in the kitchen?
No, ma'am.
5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Gable.
Well, would I wear it in the dining room?
No.
6 down, 4 to go, Miss Francis.
Well, is it something that would be worn preferably for outdoor occupation of some kind? And if you wore it indoors, it would just be because you came in the house and happened to have it on. Is that what you mean? Is it something that might be worn to cover you or protect you for whatever endeavor you might be wearing it forever and whatever? How about that for a sentence?
Well, I think the question is so broad that with your agreement, Mr. Latino, I would say that we would have to accept that the proper use of it could include some degree of protection. Would you agree to that?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Would you wear it for something other than a sports activity? Oh, I wish I hadn't put it that way.
7 to 3, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Latina, is there any metal in this product, whatever?
Some metal.
Would this product be used for a particular athletic endeavor rather than for a number of such activities?
It could be.
Now, why won't you ask him that? Mr. Gabe wanted me to ask you if it was a tool of ignorance?
Tools of ignorance, yes.
No, I won't ask that. This is one and for some activity then that can be used indoors or outdoors.
Yes.
No, we agree.
Under certain conditions, it can be used indoors, and it is used
It's a
indoors.
particular sport.
That's right, but its principal use is outdoors.
Is it a sport that you can do by yourself?
Not very well.
8 down and 2 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Is the sport seasonal?
Yes.
Is the season on now?
Yes.
Is it baseball?
Mm-hmm.
Is it one of those thingamajigs that catchers wear in front of them?
No. 9 down and 1 to go, Mr. Gable.
Well, is it a glove?
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, Martin, I read it. You have got the product. Now, what does Mr. Latino have to do with baseball gloves?
Oh, he sells them.
No, designs them, though. That was very good. I think we give you 95% of that because it was hard to get to. And Mr. Latino, you've been doing this for 40 years, I believe,
That's
is it not?
right.
With the Rollings?
That's right.
The Rollings Company.
Always glad to meet a good glove man, John.
Well, he designed the gloves for Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle,
And Marilyn Monroe.
and
my
Marilyn
son
Monroe.
Peter, too.
And is with the Rolling Sporting Goods Company, have been for a long time. Okay. This is a good honor to have you with us, sir. I didn't know it was such a precise design area. Nice to have you with us. And now the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery celebrity, for which, as you all know, the panel is always blindfolded. Are the blindfolds in place, panel?
Yes, sir.
Good. Will you enter Mystery Challenger and sign in, please?
Tonight's Mystery Challengers are the talented singing stars Gordon and Sheila McRae. Gordon and Sheila McRae.
All right, panel, as you know, in the case of our Mystery Challenger, we go to a different form of questioning, one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise, and we'll begin with Bennett, sir.
Would you describe yourself as a theatrical personality?
Yes.
Miss Kilgallen?
Are you a singer?
Yes.
Mr. Gable?
Are you more than one?
Yes.
Miss Francis?
Do you usually appear together?
Yep.
Mr. Cerf?
Are you present appearing in one of the posh hotels of New York City?
Yes.
Are you the McRaes?
At the Empire Room at the Waldorf, and Toots Shore and a bunch of us went over the other evening to see him, and he was just wonderful. Just great. I don't suppose that in modern terms, and I hope this doesn't make you two blush, there are two folks who are more adept at not only original material, but in taking off other folks. But it's nice to
Well,
have
we've
you
seen them
here.
all this week except Bennett, and we thought we'd call
I was
Dorothy.
out in Kansas City and St. Paul and Grand Forks, North Dakota.
You were.
Yes, Dorothy.
John, I saw them the other night, and they didn't even have the grace to look guilty.
We were being very just as normal. And Dorothy just said hello to us, and we didn't say a word.
Well, it's kind of nice to be known, actually.
Yeah.
I hope you all get a chance to come over and say hello at the Waldorf while we're here.
Will do. Will do. And nice of you all to come on your, what is really a kind of a little bit of time off to see us. We appreciate it very much.
Right. Thank you, John.
Good to see you, John.
I want to see that.
Panel, I think in all justice we can say that you've done rather well so far tonight. And now let's meet another contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Dorothy Dudgeon, right? All right, is it Miss or Mrs.? Mrs. Dudgeon, and where are you from?
San Francisco.
San Francisco. May I present the panel, Mrs. Dudgeon? Now, would you join me over here? Do you know how we keep score? All right, then let's let the audience here and the audience at home know exactly what your line is.
Mrs. Dodgen is a jazz drummer, once with the Benny Goodman Band.
All right. Panel, we can tell you that Mrs. Dodgen is self-employed and deals in a service, and let's begin the general questioning with Martin Gable.
Mrs. Dodgen, do you do your work in the Paris of the West?
Where's that?
San Francisco.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
That's right.
Do you travel in your work?
Yes.
Could you be generally described as a saleswoman?
No.
No. 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Do you have an effect of doing good for people in your job?
I like to think so.
Do people come to see you for your service?
Yes.
Yes, and in that first question you asked, Ms. we're presuming here that this encompasses the sense of well-being that somebody would have if they had the joy of the service of Mrs. Dodgen.
That's all right with me. Would they come to you more than one at a time, perhaps sometimes?
Yes.
Is there ever a larger audience than 2 or 3 people to have your services?
Yes.
Do you speak to these people rather than perform for them?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Sir.
Mrs. Dudgeon, I couldn't help thinking, when you go up in the Empire State Building, they say you're in a high dudgeon, don't they?
Why don't you go back to North
I couldn't help it. You don't speak to people. You do speak to people.
No.
You perform for them.
Yes.
When you perform for them, are you wearing a costume that is different from the one you would wear when you're proceeding about your business naturally?
Yes.
Is it more abbreviated?
No.
No. 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Mrs. Dudgeon, do you ever perform for children? Yes. Do you use mimicry in your work? No.
4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Gable.
Do you have any objects with you in your work?
Yes.
Do you and the object perform for the people or children?
Yes.
Martin, I think you're on the road, but we've run out of time. No, actually, you'd have come to it, I think, that first and then to something else. Actually, Mrs. Dudgeon is a jazz drummer.
Oh, she swings.
And has played most recently with Benny Goodman's band. Her dad was a drummer, and I believe your husband is a saxophonist, is he not?
She's come to the right place.
Come to the right place.
She said she wasn't a
Thank you
salesman.
very
Now
much
say
for
she's
being
a
our
drummer.
guest. Big pot.
Wake up, America. Time to stump the experts. Each week at this time, the H.J. Heinz Company, makers of the famous 57 varieties, gives you Information Please. A quartet of experts is on hand to answer your questions. Send them to Information Please at 570 Lexington Avenue, New York City. We may edit them a bit, and in case of similarity, you'll have to accept our judgment of who shall be paid. If we use your question, the H.J. Heinz Company will send $10 in war stamps, plus a set of the 12-volume Britannica Junior Encyclopedia. If we muff the question, you get $57 in war bonds and stamps, plus a 24-volume set of the regular Encyclopedia Britannica. All questions remain our property. Information Please is presented under the supervision of Dan Goldenpaul. And now, our master of ceremonies, book reviewer of the New Yorker magazine, Clifton Fadiman.
Ladies and gentlemen, impromptu and unrehearsed as ever, Information Please offers tonight a 4-star cast consisting of our 2 regulars, John Kieran of the New York Sun and Franklin P. Adams, along with Richard Manney, eminent theatrical publicist, and that great lady of the American theater, Miss Ethel Barrymore, currently starring in The Corn is Green. We're going to begin with a question from Dorothy M. Roth of Philadelphia. And each of the following people had something to say about time, T-I-M-E. What did they have to say about it? Let's get 3 out of 4. What did Ralph Hodgson have to say about time? Ralph Hodgson. Hodgson. Any ideas? This is one of those things you just can't make up. You either know or you don't know. No luck, eh?
No luck.
You know who Ralph Hodgson was?
Yeah.
Miss Barrymore, who was
Yeah,
he?
he's a poet.
Yes, an English poet.
I only know one poem of his.
Well, what one is that?
The Bull.
I'm sorry, we don't have that one. We have the other one. Time, you old gypsy man, will you not stay? Put up your caravan just for one day. It's a famous poem by Ralph Hodgson, but just not quite famous enough. That's one wrong. What did Henry Wadsworth Longfellow say about time? He said something about time, Mr. Kieran.
And departing, leave behind us footprints on the sands of time.
That's a very good one. I hadn't thought of that. There's another phrase about time. Art is long, and what is time?
Fleeting.
Yes, time is fleeting, Mr. Adams. That's quite right. Rudy Valley had something to say about time, too.
Your time and my time, or something.
Or something like that, yes. My time is your time.
Well,
my time is your time.
Theme song.
That's right, the theme song of Rudy Valley, yes. It's difficult to know which made the other famous. And Cicero had something to say about time. Cicero? Mr. Adams?
O tempora, o mores.
Hey, that's perfect. Perfect. Where'd you pick up that beautiful Roman?
I'm good at that.
Yeah, good. And what does it mean?
O the times, o the customs.
O the times, o the customs. And under what circumstances did Cicero use the phrase? Mr. Manney?
He was laying out Catiline, I believe.
Yes, as he was doing most of the time. Then, of course, there's Shakespeare's famous time. You know that one, Mr. Kieran?
Oh, he had so many about that.
Well, I was thinking of the bank where the wild thyme grows. How about this one from Ken West of Eatonton, New Jersey? Identify the active manager in baseball who did the following things. There are going to be three of them. One who won pennants in both leagues. An active manager who won pennants in both leagues, Mr. Manney.
Joe McCarthy.
Joe McCarthy.
Chicago Cubs and the New York Yankees.
Yes, won several pennants for the Yankees. Any number, not any number, but a reasonable number. How about this one? An active manager who spent all his playing career, or almost all of it, in the other league. That is the one he is not with now. Mr. Adams.
Well, Gabby Harton did for one.
Gabby Harton? I don't know about that. Is that right, Mr. Kieran?
No, I shouldn't say so.
Mr. Manney?
Bucky Harris.
Bucky Harris. Now with whom?
Philadelphia Nationals.
Yes, and most of his time was spent with whom?
Washington and Detroit.
Yeah, Washington and Boston. Washington and
All
Boston.
three.
All three? Okay. Now, how about an active manager who won pennants in 3 different cities of the same league? Won pennants in 3 different cities of the same league, Mr. Manney?
I think it's McKechnie.
I guess it would be. Name the teams.
St. Louis.
That's one.
Pittsburgh.
That's another.
Cincinnati.
That's right. Exactly. That right, Miss Barrymore?
Sure.
Oh, you knew all along?
Yeah.
Well, why didn't you tell us?
He missed one city, though. He missed in Boston. Alas.
Alas.
I mean, he didn't win the pennant.
Alas, poor McKechnie. How about this one from Herbert Buckman of Cleveland, Ohio? It's about candles. Where would you be if you saw the candles referred to in the following quotations? Let's get 2 out of 3. The first one is, how far that little candle throws his beams. Now, if you heard that, where would you be on the Earth's surface, Mr. Kieran?
You would be in about the 4th act of the Merchant of Venice.
You'll be in the 5th act. That's next door to it.
Is it the 5th? All right. It's the 5th. That's when Portia is returning home to her place.
Belmont.
Belmont, yes.
That's
Miss
right.
Barrymore reminds us. And Miss Barrymore, where is Belmont? Near what larger town?
Venice.
Venice, yes. Belmont, near Venice in the Merchant of Venice. How about this one? Through the sycamores, the candle lights are gleaming. Where would you be, Mr. Adams?
On the banks of the Wabash, far away.
I'm almost sorry I asked you. And who wrote the words, Mr. Adams?
Paul Dresser wrote the words, and Theodore Dreiser is supposed to have written the first verse.
Yes. Did he write that one, from the fields there come the breath of new mown hay and so forth? Those are very good words.
That's a
beautifully
question.
written.
I doubt it.
Well, they're very good words anyway, whoever wrote them. And the final candle is out, brief candle. Where would you be if you heard that, Mr. Kieran?
You would be, well, I won't give you the act, but it's toward the end of the play of Macbeth, where he says, out, brief candle, life is but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more.
You think he's missed his vocation, Miss Barrymore? He's not bad.
Yes.
For an ex-sports expert, I mean. And actually, Mr. Kieran, where would you be? What town and country would you be in if you heard of
He'd be at his castle where he was being attacked. Dunsinane.
Yes, Dunsinane in
Scotland.
Yeah, Scotland.
Scotland.
Yes, quite right. All right. Gladys Carrington of Newman, Illinois, sends in a question about limericks. I'm going to give you the first 4 lines of 3 limericks, which are supposed to be reasonably well known. I'm going to ask you to give me the 5th, or topper. There was an old man who said, "Hush, I perceive a young bird in this bush." When they said, "Is it small?" he replied, "Not at all." How does it go on?
It's 4 times the size of the bush.
That's right, Miss Barrymore. That's exactly right. It is 4 times as big as the bush.
Oh,
you wasted a good deal of time during your career learning these things, Miss Barrymore. Try this one. The Reverend Henry Ward Beecher called a hen a most elegant creature. The hen, pleased with that, laid 2 eggs in his hat. Mr. Adams.
And thus did the Henry Ward Beecher.
Very good. Yeah. And thus did the Henry Ward Beecher. Mr. Manney, did that come back to you?
Not at all.
You don't remember it at all?
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it at all. You know something about Henry Ward Beecher, don't you?
I must have been mixed up with the wrong Beechers.
There are no wrong Beechers. They were always right. Here is one. There was an old party of Lyme who married 3 wives at one time. When asked, "Why the 3rd?" he replied, "One's absurd." What's the topper? Ah. And bigamy, sir,
is a crime.
Right, yes, but I have to mark that one wrong. Still, that sends us on to number 5 from Helga Ritter of Warren, Ohio. Here is a question about famous boasters. Tell me what happened to them. The first boasted, "I'll grind his bones to make my bread." Mr. Kieran.
He fell down and broke his neck, I think, chasing Jack down the beanstalk.
Yes, that was the one. What is the whole...
5-4 thumb, I smell the blood of an Englishman, be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread.
Very good, yes. Nothing like the amount of classical illusion that you have, Mr. Kieran. How about this? Here's another boast. I am looking forward to dictating peace to the United States in the White House at Washington, Miss Barrymore.
Admiral Yamamoto, luckily dead.
Yes. He was recently dead, yes. Yamamoto killed, according to the Japs, Miss Barrymore, under what circumstances?
Well, they said he was killed in the plane, but I don't think we know.
Well, we know probably that they were lying. That he was not killed in air combat. He was the Japanese #1 admiral, and
he was full of Bushido.
Pardon? What'd you say, Mr. Meany?
I say he was full of Bushido.
Full of Bushido. Here's another boast. So far, these boasters haven't come to a very good end. What happened to this one? This place in the sun shall remain our undisputed possession. Who said that? Under what circumstances? What happened to the boast? This place in the sun shall remain our undisputed possession. Well, the man who said that, Mr. Adams?
Sounded like little Kaiser Wilhelm.
Yes, you sound very affectionate.
Did he?
Yes, he did say that. Kaiser Bill said that in 1901, after the Germans had acquired Kiao Chao in China. And what happened to Kaiser Bill, Mr. Adams? What was his latter end?
He was a wood chopper at Dorn.
Yes, he ended his days wood chopping, not any longer as an emperor. He, of course, abdicated at the end of the last war. And perhaps a very good precedent. Well, you know, traditions play a big part in our lives, and our Heinz reporter, Ben Grauer, has a word on a very interesting one.
If you have ever visited the Heinz plant in Pittsburgh, you've probably noticed a little old-fashioned 2-story brick house. Looks sort of strange there with its neat yard and its crisp curtains in the midst of busy factory and office buildings. Nobody lives there now, but it's a home nevertheless, the home of a tradition, the little house where Heinz began. Originally, it stood on a tree-shaded street in Sharpsburg, about 5 miles from Pittsburgh. But not so many years ago, it was brought down to Pittsburgh and placed right in the heart of the Heinz buildings. The Heinz people always think a lot of that little house. not just for the sake of sentiment, but because it's a symbol of what Heinz stands for. It's just the kind of house where you'd expect to meet up with good cooking. You'd expect to find rich soup simmering on the back of the range, a bulging jelly bag dripping its fruity juices, and, at pickling time, the smell of bubbling hot vinegar, sweetness and spice coming at you like clouds of cozy incense. Well, I can't think how better to tell you about our way of doing things than to say that Heinz has been working for 74 years in the conscientious preparation of foods that would be at home in the little house where Heinz began.
Thank you, Mr. Grauer. Mr. Grauer, you're killing Adams. He's gnawing his fingers. Try this one. John Winter of Bayside, Long Island, sends this in. For what purpose did the following forces join hands? These are two men who got together for some particular purpose. What was the purpose? The first set of men, Francis Wilson and Frank Gilmore, got together for what purpose, Miss Barrymore?
Found Actors' Equity.
The formation of Actors' Equity. When was that, Miss Barrymore?
Oh, I never know any dates.
Mr. Manney.
1920, I think.
Oh, no.
1913, I think.
Long before 1928.
Yes, no, I think it was 1913.
Yeah.
And a very good idea it turned out to be, Miss Barrymore, didn't it? How about this one? Stephen F. Austin and Samuel Houston got together for what purpose, Mr. Kieran?
To found the Republic of Texas.
Yes, a struggle for Texan independence against Mexico. How about Jack Dempsey and Billy Kahn? At what point in their careers did they collaborate in any way? Mr. Manney.
They collaborated in a considerable scuffle at a ballpark in New York, a prize fight.
Well, that wasn't exactly a collaboration, would you say? I was thinking
collaboration on Kahn's part.
There was a case where they actually did join hands. Miss Barrymore?
No, I don't know.
Mr. Manney?
I don't know what it is at all.
When they were both in uniform.
Well, now that might be one, but I was thinking of the time when Dempsey was Kahn's second in his fight against Joe Louis. Wasn't that true?
If it was, I didn't notice him. I mean, I didn't notice Dempsey there. I saw a lot of Kahn. Might be. I've forgotten.
I believe he was his second.
Maybe.
However, we got 2 out of 3 on that. Try this. Ethel Higgins of New Haven sends this one in. What was the destination of a person who traveled the road that was a ribbon of moonlight over the purple moor? What was the destination of that person, Mr. Kieran?
That destination was a window in an inn yard. He tapped on the window, and who should be waiting there but Bess, the landlord's daughter, weaving a bright red love knot into her dark something hair.
I wish we had time for you to tell us the rest of the story, but we got 90% of it. Did that poem come back to you, Miss Barrymore? Remember it now? Try this one. What was the destination of a person who traveled the road that was like an arrowy alpine river? That is a tough one. The road that was like an arrowy alpine river. Well, that is tough. It's from Mr. Adams?
I don't know. That wouldn't be Kubla Khan.
No.
That's kind of close.
Well, you couldn't be further away.
It was Alf the Sacred River.
Yes, that's Alf, but this is Alpine. An H makes all the difference. Here, it's from Sheridan's Ride, which kids learn in school. Remember, by Thomas Buchanan Reed, under his spurning feet the road like an arrowy alpine river flowed, and the destination was Cedar Creek. Probably everybody under 14 listening to us knows that, though they shouldn't be up so late. How about this one? What was the destination of a person who traveled the road that was the steep and thorny way? Mr. Kieran.
Why, his destination in the play was Paris. He was going... No, the destination, the one who was to tread the steep and thorny path, was heaven.
Yes.
But...
well, you might very easily get them mixed up.
But the one who told that himself the primrose path of dalliance trod.
That's right, yes.
That's Laertes giving very good advice to his sister Ophelia in Hamlet.
Perfect answer. Very good. David Weiss of McKeesport, Virginia, asks this one about famous detectives of fiction. Not famous detectives, but any detectives of fiction. What important facts do detectives learn from the following clues? The first set of clues might be the size and type and distance apart of a man's footprints. When they determine those facts, what can they tell about the man?
They can tell
Miss
the
Barrymore?
height.
Pardon?
The height.
The height, yes. And could they tell anything else, perhaps, from the distance and...
Well, I think they could tell the height and vaguely the weight, the size
They might
of
tell
man.
vaguely the weight, yes. Mr. Manney?
They might tell if he was sober.
Yes, that's right. They might tell something about any peculiarities of his stride, whether he were lame, perhaps, or whether, as Mr. Manney, drawing from his own experience, said whether he was sober. What important facts do detectives learn from the report of the medical examiner, assuming that the cause of death is obvious? Then what do they learn from the medical examiner's report? Mr. Kieran?
Well, they learn whether it was a deed of violence or not, or poison, or the manner.
Assuming that the cause of death is obvious, what else do they learn?
From the report?
From the medical examiner's report, Mr. Adams.
I don't know.
Approximately the time of death.
That's right. Yes, that's a very important clue in a great many detectives. Isn't that true, Miss Barrymore?
Yes, of course
About
it
the
is,
time it was committed, whether 10 or 12 hours ago or whatever. Now, suppose a man has a perfect and prompt alibi. What do they learn from that?
He's guilty.
Well, it's not as easy as all that.
No,
But not necessarily that he's guilty.
No.
Well, but that he has prepared an alibi, which is suspicious.
Yes,
That's right.
That's
It's
what I
suspicious.
meant.
He may have some, as Miss Barrymore says.
That's what I meant.
He might have some knowledge of the crime. That's right. Lillian Farmer of Birmingham, Alabama, sends this one in. I'm going to ask you to identify for us these heroines of the theater, each of whom does some exposing of someone else in the play. The first case, the first woman exposes the man she loves as a card cheat. Exposes the man she loves as a card cheat. Who is that? Miss Barrymore, I can hear you mentally.
Well,
Can you think of one?
Déclassé, do you mean?
Yes. Déclassé.
Yes.
Apparently, none of us
act.
can forget déclassé.
Were you good in that?
How about this one? One who exposes herself as a thief and marries the man who trapped her. That's the plot of the play. Miss Barrymore, does that come back to you?
Oh,
Dick?
No, it's so
Mr. Manney? Oh, my. Why, Miss Barrymore.
Oh, I know it's awful. I can't think of it.
It's in The Last of Mrs. Cheney, isn't it?
Yes, that's
And Mrs. Cheney is the one who exposes herself as a thief. How about one who exposes herself as a forger and leaves her ungrateful husband? Exposes herself as a forger, Mr.
That's one of Ibsen's plays.
It is
The Hedda
indeed.
Gabler.
Oh, gee whiz, it's just the wrong
Oh,
one.
wait a minute. No, The Doll's House.
Yeah.
The
Should I
Doll's
count
House.
you right or should I count you wrong?
Oh, yeah, I know the play.
Sure.
Really, don't count me wrong on that.
A Doll's House is right. And now our 57 Varieties reporter, Ben Grauer, is about to delve into the mysteries of that elusive thing called flavor.
If the secret of Heinz' success would be stated in a word, that word would be flavor. Now, flavor, of course, is a subtle thing. You can dine in a palace on plates of gold and miss it. You can eat in some out-of-the-way lunchroom and find it. For it all depends on who's in the kitchen. Now, if you were to peep into the Heinz kitchens, you'd discover many reasons for Heinz flavor, but this above all. Heinz chefs are masters of that fine, creative art of cooking, and they have the best ingredients in the world at their command. Each individual bean, pickle, tomato, clove, grain of wheat, leaf of tarragon, or what you will, is a perfect specimen of its kind, grown in that section of the good earth where prize crops flourish best. This rigid Heinz rule of absolute perfection of the ingredients has not been altered in a single instance these 74 years. And today, when flavor is more important than ever, it's well to remember that the 57 varieties are still rich with that genuine homespun goodness that has delighted 3 generations of appreciative Americans.
Thank you, Mr. Grauer. Try from Arthur. Identify the famous families, there are going to be 3 of them, let's get 2 out of 3, which had or have these distinguished members. A father and son who were decorated for bravery simultaneously. Mr. Kieran?
Recently,
Yes.
the General Theodore Roosevelt and his son Quentin Roosevelt were decorated in Africa. General Theodore Roosevelt is commanding general of the infantry of a certain division, and his son is field artillery.
That's exactly right, Mr. Kieran. Very good. Yes, cited on May 6th, only recently for bravery in North Africa. Now, how about two brothers who won the same prize in successive years? Two brothers, Mr. Manney?
Might well be John and Lionel Barrymore.
It might well be, but you'll have to document your case. I'm not sure that it was. Miss Barrymore, can you tell us whether that's true or not?
No, I don't think so.
Don't think it was. The ones I was thinking of were Carl Van Doren, the famous biographer who won the Pulitzer Prize in 1939. And Mark Van Doren, Mr. Adams, who won it in 1940, the next year, for a book of poetry. I have to call that wrong and get the next one right. Four brothers who ruled simultaneously. I've got to name them. Four brothers. Miss Barrymore?
You mean way back?
You can go back as far as you wish.
Well, the Henry the Third, Charles the Ninth, Francis the Second, and
well, were they all brothers?
Yes, they were all the sons of Catherine de' Medici. They were all the Valois boys.
You've named three.
Yes, I'm trying to think of the last one's name.
Maybe it isn't too late for Catherine to produce a
Oh,
fourth.
no, I think there are only three.
Mr. Manney?
Napoleon Bonaparte, Joseph Bonaparte, Louis Bonaparte.
That's three.
Jerome.
That's three.
Jerome.
No,
Jerome is right, yes.
Jerome.
You know, I think we'll have to count that wrong because we should have got the Napoleon answer right off the reel. That will send $57 in war bonds and stamps to Mr. Porter and the set of the Encyclopedia Britannica, courtesy of the Heinz Company. The four Napoleon brothers, the up-and-coming Napoleon brothers, form the right answer. However, you only got that with an assist from Miss Barrymore, Dick. So, try this from Helen Stillman, New York. It's about elopements. Elopements. It's a very old-fashioned... They don't do it anymore, do they, Miss Barrymore? People elope anymore?
Afraid not.
You hardly ever hear of it. Here's one about elopements. In what work of fiction do they occur? Or play, or novel, or whatever? In what work does a daughter elope, taking her father's bags of money and jewelry? An idea. Miss Barrymore.
Jessica. In The Merchant of Venice.
In The Merchant of Venice, yes. And who's the boy she runs away with?
Oh, Lorenzo.
Lorenzo, and it's Shylock that she runs away from, Miss Barrymore, as you say. In what work does a wife elope with a former husband? A repetition compulsion. A wife elope with a former husband. There's anything improbable. It's in Private Lives, Noel Coward's famous comedy, Private Lives. That gives us one wrong. And where do you find a man who makes it a practice to intercept elopers on their way to their destination? This is a play of some years ago, one of the most charming plays that I remember having seen. Mr. Manney?
I'm going to make a psychic bet and say lightning.
No, I don't think so. I don't believe that would fit. The one I was thinking of was A.A. Milne's The Dover Road.
Oh, yes.
Isn't that right, Miss Barrymore?
Yes, that was a lovely
charming character there who gets people together who want to go apart and vice versa. Well, that sends $57 in war bonds and stamps to Miss Stillman and a set of the Britannica. Finally, Mrs. D.M. Philippi of Dayton, Ohio. Where in fiction does a character divert suspicion by doing the following things? Where does she divert suspicion by shooting herself in the back? Shooting herself in the back. Seems a little unfair. Remember, it's in a detective story. A famous one of some years ago. The Green Murder Case by whom?
S. Van Dyne.
S. Van Dyne, yes, your old friend, Mr. Adams. That's one wrong. Try this. Where does a character divert suspicion by carrying a butterfly net and box while walking on the moors? Mr. Kieran.
That was Sherlock Holmes, I believe, in The Hound of the Baskervilles, isn't it?
Yes, it's by Sherlock Holmes. He isn't the one who diverts suspicion.
Oh, no, the uncle or whatever, the murderer, isn't it?
Mr. Stapleton is the villain in that Sherlock Holmes story. It's exactly right, Mr. Kieran. And what character diverts suspicion by playing a record of the victim's voice? Very famous, a classical detective story of some years ago. Still one of the best ever written. I bet all four of you have read it.
I've read it, I know. They put on the record after the man is dead and somebody comes to the door and here's the man speaking and thereafter swears that the man was alive at that date.
That's perfect, Mr. Kieran.
I've forgotten the name of the book.
You've given us everything but the name of the book.
I can't remember the name.
It's pathetic. I shall have to award $57 to Mrs. Philippi unless we get the name of the book, which is The Murder of Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie. Sorry, but that sends Mrs. Philippi $57 and it's from Britannica. Helene Falk of Springdale, Connecticut, asks this one. It's an interesting question about men in whose lives islands played an important part. Identify each of them. This one was born on one island and imprisoned on two others. Mr. Adams.
Napoleon.
Name the islands, Mr. Manney. What islands were they?
He was born on Corsica.
St. Helena and Corsica.
Yes, right. And which one was buried on two islands which he discovered? That doesn't sound possible, does it? Buried on two islands which he discovered. Split personality, doubtless. Mr. Kieran?
Bering?
Bering. You want to discover Bering, the Bering Sea?
Yeah, I
Bering
think he's
Strait?
buried up there. I didn't know that they split him in half and buried him on two islands.
Well, do you want to make this up and cut Bering in two?
No, I
Two islands that he discovered?
Yeah.
Christopher Columbus.
That's right. Why didn't you say that before, Adams? That's correct. You're so modest, I think. Yes, Columbus. His remains were transported, according to his will, to Santo Domingo. But on the cession of Hispaniola to the French, they were removed to the Cathedral of Havana in Cuba. And finally, they were removed to Spain.
That's right.
His death was one long moving day. How about this one? This writer was born on an island in the North Atlantic and died on an island in the South Pacific. That's going far afield, Mr. Manney.
Robert Louis Stevenson.
That's quite right. What were the islands, Mr. Manney?
I'll rest there.
Well,
I know where he's...
well, what was the island in the South Pacific? That's the important
Samoa.
Yes, an island. It died in Vailima, I think it was, the island of Upolu on Samoa. Let's see, we did get 2 out of 3 on that, so that we do not have to send $57 to Helene Falk of Springdale, Connecticut. I want to thank you, Miss Barrymore, and Mr. Richard Manney, for your star performances tonight. Now, this evening, the H.J. Heinz Company has paid out how much? $171 in war bonds and stamps and 3 sets of the Encyclopedia Britannica. Next week, the Levant-Kieran-Adams combination will play ball with our distinguished guest, the eminent musical maestro, who has been with us a couple of times before and has always done brilliantly, and who has recently won literary laurels with his book, A Mingled Chime, Sir Thomas Beecham. Remember, those who send in questions and answers, that you must include not only the questions, which are easy, but also the correct answers. Otherwise, we'll have to look them up ourselves. Send the questions and correct answers to Information Please at 570 Lexington Avenue, New York City. And now, Ben Grauer.
The H.J. Heinz Company, makers of the 57 varieties, invites you to join us again next Monday night at the same time. During this week and every week, remember to look for the Heinz label on food products, because Heinz quality gives you full value for your money and for every precious ration coupon that you spend.
Come on, gang. Let's play 20 questions.
Is it animal or mineral? Is it a living American man?
Could I hear it at the opera?
Is it as big as a bowling ball?
Would it match one of Crosby's shirts?
Yes, everyone is playing 20 questions. And now, here's your master of ceremonies, the man who knows all the answers, Bill Slater.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to 20 Questions, the absolutely unrehearsed program where you listeners send in subjects for our questioners to identify in not more than 20 questions.
I'm the mystery voice, off stage in the soundproof booth. I'll tell you what the subject is, and the poster will inform our studio audience. But we won't tell our questioners
who are Fred Vandevanter, famous newscaster, Florence Renard, musician and teacher, Bobby McGuire, our young high school student, Herb Palazzi, radio and motion picture producer, and our special guest tonight is the head of the world-famous sports arena, Madison Square Garden, General John Reed Kilpatrick. General Kilpatrick, it's a pleasure to have you with us on 20 Questions tonight.
Thank you. It's fun being here.
Right?
I hope.
I'm sure it'll be fun.
President of Madison Square Garden?
Why, sure. Haven't you ever seen him, Herb?
Not his face, I haven't. From where I sit in the garden, all I've seen is the top of his head.
No. You saw your own face reflected in this bald head of mine, I think.
No. Well, I want you, General, to be warned against Mr. Palazzi there, and I'm glad you've come over from the garden this evening. You're having a track meet tonight, aren't you?
We are.
You have track meets, you have hockey games, you have Sonia Hannay, you have dog shows, you have basketball. You just have everything in that wonderful Madison Square Garden. I'm glad you could take some time away from it. Come over here and play 20 Questions with us, sir.
Thank you.
Right. Let's move into our first subject of the evening.
This is the 20 Questions mystery voice speaking from off stage. Bill has a double subject for election year, the Republican elephant and the Democrat donkey.
Now let the studio audience see it, too. That's the animal subject for which you have 20 questions. It'll give them a fight, won't it, audience? Here we go. We're off. Van.
Is it a living American man?
No, it's not a living American man. Bobby.
Is it a human being?
Not a human being. Herb.
Is it a four-legged groundhog?
It's not a four-legged groundhog, no. No, that's a shadowy question. Florence.
Is it four-legged?
The subject?
Mm-hmm.
No. Van?
Is it part of a four-legged animal?
No. No. Van?
Well, is it a whole animal?
Partly. Florence?
Is it a group of four-legged animals?
It's a group of four-legged animals, yes.
Where are you looking? Are they upstairs?
No. I'm just looking up above for inspiration in view of these tough questions you're shooting at me. Van?
Are they fictional animals?
Yes. Bob?
Are they in children's fiction?
No. That's 9 questions. Van?
Are they in prose fiction?
They have been mentioned in prose fiction. They're not primarily famous for that. Herbert?
Well, are they horses?
No, they're not horses. Van?
Are they edible animals?
Edible? No, not normally. No. Herb?
Are they in advertising?
In advertising?
Yes.
Not in commercial advertising, no.
What's
But
sustaining
in the form thereof. What'd you say, Herbert?
What is sustaining advertising?
You sponsored a good one,
Florence. Are they a domestic animal?
A domestic animal? Partly.
You mean part of them is and part of them isn't?
That's it,
Part of them are and part of them aren't, I think.
That's right. That's better than saying part of them is and part of them ain't, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Bad.
Are these usually associated with American animals? Do we consider them usually to be American?
The ones we're after, yes. Van?
Are they, do they usually come from one particular state? Wouldn't be Missouri mules, then, would they?
No, that's 16 questions used and only 4 left. Bobby comes in.
Is it 2 different species of animals?
That's right. 2 different species of animals. 17 questions, 3 to go. Florence.
Are they dogs and cats?
No, they're not dogs and cats. That's 18 and 2 questions left. And these animals to get. All right, who has the next question?
Bob. This is review. You say one of them is wild and one of them is domesticated. Is that correct? That's just review.
I believe that I said that a part of this thing you're after consisted of a domesticated animal or animals.
I see. And it seems there's only 2 of them. One is and one isn't.
That could be, Robert. Florence?
Is this a cat and a mouse?
No, it's not a cat and a mouse. Now you have only 1 question left.
Only one?
Only 1. Sorry, you used up 19 of your allotted 20. All right, let's go. Somebody take a crack at it. They're fairly familiar animals, as a matter of fact. All right, question number 20. What do you say, Herbert? He's just looking.
And all reminds me of Fred Allen's line, where were you when the page was blank? That's me, blank.
That look almost resembled one of these animals. All right, the 20th question. Take a crack.
Oh, I know.
Bobby?
This may fit. Is this the dog and the cow and the manger?
No, I'm awfully sorry. The Republican elephant and the Democrat's donkey. Oh, congratulations, Mr. Colgan. let's move into our next one, which I hope won't be as hard to get.
Here's another combination subject. Those two staples, bread and butter.
Now, you at home have been told with a mystery voice. Let the studio audience see it, Miss Shepard. This shouldn't be too difficult. 20 questions you have, Bob.
Is this cloth?
No, it's not cloth. Van.
Is it manufactured?
Yes, in a sense. Van again.
Is it edible?
Edible, right. Right, that's 3 questions. Bob.
Is this usually used as an entree?
No. No. Florence.
Is it dessert?
No, it's not dessert. Van.
Is it usually used between meals, eaten between meals?
No, it's not usually eaten between meals. Has been eaten between meals. Florence.
Is it bread or any form of bread?
Partly. Partly. Florence.
Is it bread plus something else?
Yes, that's 8 questions. John Kilpatrick. Sandwich. No, but that's pretty close. That's pretty close. That's 9 questions. Florence.
Do you want one specific portion of this that is connected with someone?
No, no specific portion of this that's connected with someone. No.
Just
Bob.
any.
Yeah, Bob.
Did you say this was or was not a sandwich?
I said it was not a sandwich, but I'm
not.
asking. Hurt.
Is it a hamburger on a roll?
No. No. It's not a roll and hamburger. That's 11. Van.
Do you usually eat it at mealtime?
Usually, yes. Florence.
Is it bread and butter?
It's bread and butter. It was the obvious, you see. It was quite battle. I carried you to 13 questions on plain bread and butter.
It's obvious he had it on the card in front of him.
That's correct, Herbert. Right.
That's an obvious dodge.
Well, now let's move into our next subject here. This will give you a tussle, too.
The panel can't hear me telling you the answer. It's America's second president, John Adams, and his son, President John Quincy Adams.
You at home know. Let the studio audience have a look at this. Take a good look at it, audience. It's a rough one, isn't it? Here we go. It's animal, and Van has his hand way up.
Does this have anything to do with St. Valentine's Day?
No. Nice romantic thought of you. You know, if I were sending a Valentine, my nicest Valentine would go to that Ben Alexander for that Heart's Desire program of his. I can't help but thinking of hearts on Valentine's Day.
That's what I was thinking of, the heart that...
Were you really?
Yeah.
Well, we both had such a hearty thought, didn't we? But you were wrong.
Spring is here.
But I was thinking of my mother-in-law. I was blank again.
I haven't seen your mother-in-law lately, Herb.
Congratulations.
Well, let's get on with the subject here. It's animal, and there's been one question asked. Has it anything to do with Valentine's Day? I said no, and Bob comes in.
Is it human?
Is it human? Yes. Florence?
Is it alive?
No. Herb?
Is it fictional?
No. Real. Van?
Was it a man?
A man? Partly. Van?
Was it a group of men?
Yes. Yes, in a sense. Bob?
Was it 2 inventors?
Was not 2 inventors.
Was it 2 men?
It was 2 men. Charged both questions. That's 8 questions used. 2 men. Herb?
Were they brothers?
No, they were not brothers. Van?
Were they American?
They were American. That's 10 questions left. Half your questions gone. Herb?
Were they explorers?
They were not explorers. Florence?
Were they in entertainment?
No, they were not in entertainment. That's 12 questions. John Kilpatrick?
Politicians?
Yes. Yes. That's 13 questions. 7 to go. That's the most helpful question yet, John Kilpatrick. Herb?
Were they both presidents?
Yes.
Were they the Roosevelts?
No. That's 15 questions. Florence?
The Adamses?
The Adamses, right. President John Adams and his son, President John Quincy Adams. You got that in 16 questions. Well, questioners, that wraps up 3 subjects. I'd like to pass on a little message now to you men and women of the armed forces overseas who are hearing this program through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. How about a subject from you for our board of experts to see if you too can win a grand surprise prize? You may address your questions to 20 Questions, Box 142, New York 8, New York, or through the Armed Forces Radio Service, Los Angeles, California, USA.
Now back to 20 questions. And first, remember the rules of the game. You listeners send in the subject for our questioners to identify in not more than 20 questions. The mystery voice will keep you informed, but all we'll tell our questioners is whether the subject is animal, vegetable, or mineral. Right, Bill?
Right, Frank, and we've stumped them on 1 tonight, and they've gotten 2 of them. General John Reed Kilpatrick, you enjoying this as much as being over at your Madison Square Garden?
Almost as much.
Well, we're glad to have you here tonight, and you're having a lot of fun. You've great help on that last question, incidentally, sir. Let's move into our fourth subject. The subject is mineral and vegetable.
There seems to be more in these double subjects than meets the eye. This time it's a bicycle built for two.
Now let the studio audience in on it too, Miss Shepard, please. Here we go. 20 questions. Bobby.
Is this a geographic location?
This is not a geographic location, no. Florence?
Is this edible?
Edible? No. No. Van.
Is the mineral part metallic?
Mineral part is metallic. Bob?
Is this manufactured?
Manufactured, yes. Herb?
Was this connected with anyone we know?
No. Nobody in particular
Anonymous.
that you know? That's right. Florence?
Is the vegetable part wooden?
The vegetable part? No. Bob?
Is this a means of transportation?
Yes. Yes. 6 questions. Bob?
Are there two of them?
2 of the things you're after?
Yeah.
Why'd you ask that question?
Because the first 3 had something to do with two.
Yes. Well, there aren't 2 of these things.
Does it have 2 motors, 2 propellers, 2 blades, or front and a back, or
The answer to what you've asked, Bob, is no. 8 questions. Florence?
Does it have 2 wheels?
Yes.
A bicycle?
Yes. But wait a minute.
A bicycle built for 2.
Bicycle built for 2. Right. 11 questions. That's a song, too. And, Herb, I'm surprised you didn't get that. You've been around the entertainment world a long time.
Yeah, but musical comedy's not my field. I was a dramatic actor. I was only in one play, Tobacco Road. You know I made no impression at all on Rockefeller?
Now, listen, Falaise. After all...
I could have used the dime.
All right. Now, I haven't made any impression on you people in the last 3 subjects, but let's try this one here.
The 2 heads that are better than one.
All right, you at home know from the mystery voice. Let the studio audience see this. I think they'll have trouble, don't you? Here we go. It's animal, 20 questions. Herb.
Human?
Human? Yes. Van.
Are they whole animals?
No. Herb?
Parts of 2 brothers?
Could be. Van?
Are these parts of the body that are a part of the head?
Parts of the body that are a part of the head. No. Bob?
Is this part of a human being? Was that asked?
Whether the subject was part of a human being, I don't think that was asked. Charging for
was it? I mean, is it?
Is the subject part of a human being?
Yes.
Partly. Herb?
Are these the Siamese twins?
No. No. You made the wrong connection there. Florence?
Are these heads?
What'd you say?
Are these heads?
They're heads.
2 heads that are better than one?
Van?
You know what I thought it was?
What?
I thought it was the left hand that doesn't know what the right hand's doing.
Well, that was a very handy thought, but she headed you off.
I thought it was
he's a clever man, that Slater.
Let's get into this one here. This is where I'm going to let the people at home play it right along with us. We won't tell them what it is in advance, and see if you at home can get it before our questioners do here. Let the studio audience see it. The subject is animal. All right, you have 20 questions to get this subject. It's animal. This is not easy. Van.
Are these whole animals?
They are whole animals. Bob.
Are they both men?
Are they what?
Both men.
Both men?
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't charge for that question. Van?
Are they human?
No, they're not human. Bob?
Are they both 4-footed?
No, they're not both 4-footed. Herb?
Are they the birds of a feather that flock together?
No, they're not. Nice thought. Nice soft, feathery thought, but that's not it. Van?
Are they birds?
They're not birds. Van?
Are they marine animals?
Yes. Bob?
Are they actually fish?
Yes. Yes. That's 7 questions. Bob again.
Are they in a song?
No, they're not in a song.
I guess that was 3, though, wasn't it?
Yes. That's right.
5 little fishes.
Well, be as efficient as you want to be. This has nothing to do with this. Van?
Are these specific types of fish rather than just fish?
Just fish. That's 9 questions. Bob?
Is it biblical?
Yes.
Is it the fishes that Christ broke up and made 1,000? Oh, I forget the exact. wording of it.
Well, now you'll have to be a little bit more
It's in a
exact.
parable, I believe.
You're awfully close. Herbert?
The 5 little fishes and the 2 loaves of bread?
No. Van?
Are these...
No.
But it's the 2 little fishes and the 5 loaves of bread.
Van?
That is it.
Well, that's it. But Van, put it absolutely clearly for us, will you?
Well, it's the 2 fishes with which Christ fed the multitude.
And the 5 loaves of bread.
You didn't ask for that.
No, just the 2 fishes from the 2 fishes and the 5 loaves of bread.
Looking at it in a mirror.
Yes. Well, you got it. You got it quicker than I thought you would, although I ran you to 13 questions on that. Now let's see what you can do on this one. I don't want you to get to feel too cocky. I'm not licked yet, my friends.
This is the mystery voice once more on the job. Bill is talking about only one subject this time, but it's a double crosser.
Listeners at home now, let the studio audience look at this one. See what I mean, audience, when I said I wasn't licked yet? Let's go. Let's go. It's animal. You have 20 questions. Bob.
Is this a human being?
Yes.
Siamese twins?
No. No. Van.
Is it more than one human being?
There are quite a few of them. Herb?
Are they twins of any kind?
Are they twins? Some of them are, and some of them aren't.
Are they brothers under the twins? I mean, under the skin.
Under the skins, some of them are, and some of them aren't. Van?
Can these people be identified by their occupations?
They have all kinds of occupations, Van. Herb?
Are they babies?
No, they're not babies. Van?
Can they be identified by their avocations?
By their avocations?
He means that they eat avocados.
Well, that's apparent, Herb. Yes, they can be identified by what you might call their avocations. General Kilpatrick?
Is it a group of individuals that is characterized by some peculiar characteristic, mental or physical?
General, that covers a lot of territory, but that's awfully close. They're a group of people that are identifiable by a peculiar characteristic.
Left-handed or...
No. That's equivalent to asking if the characteristic is physical. It is not. You have used up 8 questions. Florence.
Do they have 2 of something that they shouldn't have? I mean, that normal people don't.
What could you have 2 of that you shouldn't have?
Well, I can think of one.
No, the answer to that is no, Florence. General Kilpatrick?
Is it some mental characteristic, such as being stupid or smart?
It's something like that, General, but not quite that. You have bored in closer than anybody so far. Bobby.
Is this something like a 2-timer?
It's something like
a
that.
A bigamist, perhaps?
No. I love that perhaps, Bob. A Van.
Oh, would it be a double crosser?
Well, I like the teamwork here, General. I like the way you put them on the track there with that one. A double crosser you got in 13 questions. All right.
Now, if the general could get a seat in the garden as easy as he puts us on the track here.
Our expert questioners have 20 chances to get these 2 subjects: Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri.
You at home have been told. Let the studio audience see this. I don't blame you. You have 20 questions. It's vegetable and mineral. Herb starts.
Is it a pair of oars?
A pair of oars? No. You were rowing in the wrong direction. Van.
Is this a geographic location?
Yes. Van again.
Is it in the United States?
Yes, in the United States. Herb?
Are they twin cities?
Yes.
Minneapolis and St. Paul?
No.
Sodom and Gomorrah?
No, and...
I know that's not in the United States.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that either, Herb. Bobby?
Dallas and Fort Worth?
No.
Detroit and Cleveland?
No.
New York and Chicago?
No. You've run out of cities, have you, Bobby?
He wants a conductor's hat.
Yeah. Van.
Are they east of the Mississippi?
No.
San Francisco and Oakland?
No, always put your hand up, please, Bob. No. That's the 11 questions. Florence?
Could I qualify that question? You mean neither one of them are east of the Mississippi?
That's right. Neither one of them is east of the
Well,
Mississippi.
then don't count any questions.
Van.
Are they west of the Rockies?
No. No. Van.
Are they north of the Missouri?
North of the Missouri River?
Oh, I know what they are.
No, they're not. Now, wait a minute. Van's entitled to a crack at it. The answer is no.
They are not north of the Missouri River.
No.
Are they the two Kansas Cities?
That'll do it. That's right. They are in what direction from the Missouri River, Van?
Well, they're practically west, aren't they?
No, they're practically right south and west, Elvis. They're practically right there. Well, you did very well. By George, you got Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas. Took you 14 questions. See what you can do with this.
Off stage, I'm telling the radio audience only that the answer is Eddie Cantor's eyes.
All right. You at home, though. Let the studio audience see this subject. Here we go. Herbert.
Are they sports figures?
Sport figures? No. Bob.
Is this in a song?
No. Van?
Are they whole animals?
No. Van?
Are they human?
The subject is human. Herb?
Part of any of the extremities.
Part of any extremities?
Any of the extremities.
Not in the technical sense of extremities, no. No.
I'll tell you, lady, an extremity is like your pinky.
Van?
Are you after specific ones associated with a specific person?
Yes. When I'm after specific associated with a specific person, Van.
Is this person a man?
This person is a man. That's 7 questions. John Kilpatrick.
Did you say that it was connected with was not connected with the sports character?
No, I didn't say that, but this person is not a sports character. Charge for the question. That's 8 questions. Third.
Well, is it connected with a sports character?
No, I just said no.
You did say no.
I just said no. Charge again. Charge for every question. You have to pay attention here, children.
That's his fault, not ours.
That's right.
Florence?
Is this portion of the body you want above the neck?
Yes.
Are they eyebrows?
No, they're not eyebrows. Charge for every question now. Bob?
This is review. Did you say, is this person living?
I didn't say whether the person...
Is the person living?
The person is living. That's 11 questions. Diane.
Are they ears?
They're not ears.
Are they eyes?
They're eyes.
Oh.
13. Herb.
Eddie Cantor?
That's it. Eddie Cantor's eyes. All right, now here we are. I'm going to run some quickies on you. This is where I say go, and you'll have 60 seconds to knock them off.
The subject is Dempsey and Tunney.
The home audience knows. Let the studio audience see it. Go.
The living American man?
Partly. Herb.
Are they in sports?
They are in sports.
Are they brothers?
They are not brothers. Van.
Are they, do they play this game with a ball?
No. Herb.
Are they prize fighters?
Yes. John Kilpatrick.
Have they fought recently in the
No.
garden?
John Kilpatrick.
Have they fought recently in the garden?
No. Does that give you an
Are
idea?
they going to fight recently?
No. They're not going to fight. Florence.
Are they old-timers?
In a sense.
Would Braddock be one?
No, Braddock is not one. John Kilpatrick, got any ideas? John Kilpatrick?
Dempsey and Tunney?
That's it. Don't you wish that they were going to fight again?
You bet I do.
Kilpatrick. It's been nice to have had you here tonight, John Kilpatrick. I hope you've had as good a time here as we have had in having you here, sir. And now, friends, that concludes our 20 question subjects for tonight. We'll be back again next week, so be sure to send in your 20 questions entries.
20 Questions was a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.